host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with one of the best asses on Twitter and Instagram, my friend, Mr. Pops. How you doing today, babe?
I'm bloody brilliant. Thank you so much.
Right.
You are such a liar. Honest to God.
What do you mean I'm a liar? I think it's the truth.
It's all the angles.
I didn't say you had one of the largest asses on Twitter and
oh,
Instagram. I said you had one of the best.
well, then, yeah, right, that makes up for it then. I wish, oh my God, this ring light. I wish I had one of the biggest. I'm getting there. I've actually started working out now.
It's
So
a.
you can
I will say this. It's a lot of, as someone who has a big ass, it's a lot of fucking work.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just eat. Everyone keeps asking me in the messages and everything, like, why is your ass so big and everything? I'm like, food. This is literally food. That's all I can give them.
If my thing is, if it was like food and I didn't work out, my ass would get larger. But since I'm working out, my ass is getting smaller. So like, even though I'm eating, it's not.
Oh, I'm gonna start working out now then. I don't want that for me. Especially
Yeah.
with the holiday coming up. I need a rounded ass for those bleeding swimming briefs and everything, or whatever the hell you call them. Swimming
Right.
trunk. I'm gonna need that.
Work. So
Oh, sorry.
no, you're good. So okay, I know you told me this, but I'm gonna ask this anyway. So why were you curious earlier about how many inches a dick enhancement gives you?
Oh my God, yeah. um, do you know what? I don't know. It may be just the way that my brain works, but basically, I think it's like the run up to the holiday and everything. And when I go on holiday, I always, when I'm wearing like, you call them Speedos?
Yeah.
Or whatever you call them in like, even in America. When I'm wearing
Yeah.
them, I've always got like a really nice bulge in them. But I was just like really inquisitive to see how much extra I could add to it. that's literally all it was. Because it's
Yes.
already a good size, but still.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I wasn't thinking about your bulge before, but then all of a sudden you said that. I went to the last picture you did, and I went zoomed in, and I'm like, "What the fuck, this bitch complaining about?" Like,
well, because I also now I think so. You saw the video yesterday as well. The little whatever it was when I was on the chair and I had my legs up in the air.
yes,
Yeah, so I think I'm at that stage now. I think I'm going into making videos and all that for Instagram. But obviously, for some reason, even though I'm an ass person, it started off with a bulge instead. I don't know how that's worked. So now I'm like, oh, I want to improve it. I don't want to be like them guys on Twitter that puts bleeding toys down the boxes and stuff and tries to pass it off as a real dick. They're just. Have you seen them?
I've seen somebody who's even crazier than that. They have
Oh,
like one of those like extremely large fake penises that
oh.
they show off.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
No, it's like, first of all, I was looking at this person. It looks almost like the hose of a gas pump, and I'm like, who the fuck
Mm,
wants something that big
yeah,
in their ass anyway?
yeah.
Like,
I don't know who I get more angry with though. It's like because it's not right, but like fair dues to them if they can do it and they can because they're literally conning people. I mean, most of the guys
right?
aren't even gay. They're all just like gay betas. But I think
Yeah,
the people that I get more angry with is like the gay people in the comments that are like, "Oh my God, that knob or that dick is absolutely enormous. I would let you do this. I would let you do that." I'm like, it's not real. It's literally stop feeding into it. It's. Have you saw that guy with? He's got like. Do you know what? He's a beautiful guy. He's got like big bushy eyebrows. Um, he's always on it, but he's so infamous for putting toys down like his trousers and everything and like photoshopping it that now every single time he puts up a post there's always these hero gays that I love that are always posting an article in his comments like the biggest fakers on TikTok. Have you ever seen him on it?
I've never seen that person.
Oh
No,
my God, this guy's like infamous. He's got like Lamborghinis now and everything because he's made that much money out of conning people through putting toys down his trousers and stuff.
What?
Yeah, oh my, it's insane. He directs them all to his OnlyFans, which is like $15, and people are going straight on it. And I'm like, what are you actually going to see though when you're on there? Because there's pictures of his actual bulge before all the Photoshop and everything, and it's nowhere near what he's trying to say it is, with the bleeding 12-inch dildo just poking its way out. They have no shame.
Which first of all, everyone says that. As someone who's taken big dicks before, it's not as easy as everyone fucking thinks.
No, definitely not. It's enjoyable, but still, it's not. I don't get. But sorry, there's also like I think he's
Got it.
either Russian or he's German, and he's got like this beautiful body, and everything about him is beautiful, and he's got a really small bulge, but he didn't do anything with it. He just puts pictures up online, and I'm like, I would rather go for that guy any day over the guy that's putting toys. And they don't even put it in the right place. They put it like at the side of the hip. So you got people on the comments going, I didn't know like dick started on your hip instead of in the center. Like they don't care. They don't put any effort into it at all. They're just conning people.
It's
Maybe I should do it.
it's so like gross to like try and do that. And it's like, well, actually, no. I would say that's bad. What would be worse is if they're like in a person's town and they're trying to charge people money.
Yeah. Well, that's OnlyFans as well, though, isn't it?
Well,
Basically.
yeah, but OnlyFans, you're at least looking at something. It's not like you're like showing up and expecting something to be a certain size.
Yeah, that's true. It's just so like, I mean, it's weird. I'm like on the edge. I'm like, well, fair plays to you for having no morals and being able to do that. I could never do it. But at the same time, it's like you are still conning people. I think it even gets me more because they're not even gay. It's like you've got actual creators and everything that's on every platform, gay creators that are trying the best to make a living out of doing this stuff. But then the money's going to someone who is faking the shit out of it at the same time. And it's like, puts a bitter taste in people's mouths.
See, the minute I find out that like I'm following somebody and I find out that they're straight, I immediately unfollow them. Like,
Really?
yeah, I am very much that person. It's like, I want to follow gay people. I want to support gay people. That's why this podcast has been nothing but gay and bisexual people.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a straight person talk to me and they're like, when are you gonna let me do your podcast? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna talk to you about.
Yeah, very true. I know exactly what you mean. Do you know that Jake Pitts? I don't even think his name's Jake Pitts. It's Jake something, or it might even be Jack. He's stunning. He's like got all tattoos. He's everywhere. You will have seen him.
That name sounds familiar.
He's massive on TikTok, massive on Instagram. He's got a face that you just love, and massive, not about the same time. And I was like, I adored him for ages, but I know what you mean because the second that I found out he was just gay baiting, I was like, oh, everything just went. Nah, I'm all right then, thank you.
And it's like, as of proof that I've made, there are enough attractive gay people out there.
Oh
and I will interview anyone that says yes to me. Like,
I think I don't know. I want to go down that avenue so bad. Not the conning people. I don't want to go down that avenue. I want to go down that avenue so bad, but it's really daunting because at the same time you're like, well, what is the actual point? Because you've got all these people that have already took all of the space, and people are falling for the tricks and everything. If like I started a Twitter, and thankfully they're getting quite a few followers on it, but I don't think I'm ever going to get to the level that they're getting to because I'm not enhancing my photos and stuff like that.
Well, it's also, I would say, I don't know, maybe I think it's not this way, but I think it's also because of the fact that, and I know it's sad to say, that you're not in America.
Yeah.
That may be like which I will say, like, I haven't gotten like a confirmed date, but like I'll interview people. I interview you. I'm literally planning on. I am in contact with somebody who's in Australia, and
Yeah,
of course I'll interview you. I mean, we'll have to find out like a time difference
yeah,
working out
yeah.
and shit, but like, of course I would. Like,
That's true, that actually. Because I guess because religiously, I don't know why I put my stuff up at 2 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon exactly. I don't know why, but that is my time. So I'm guessing for you, that would be, I don't know, but is that like 7 a.m. in the morning for you?
roughly, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the engagement is just because when I had a, what do you call it? I had a professional or a business profile on Instagram. I've took it
Right.
off now. It was a bag of shite. But I had one of them profiles, and that showed you the insights of everything. And I'm
Yeah.
too thick to work everything out. I just click buttons and takes me different places. And one of the places where it took me was it showed me what groups around the world was actually following me. And I thought, I'm in the UK, I put it up at 2 o'clock. I put my post up at 2 o'clock. I'm
Yeah.
going to have a mainly UK following. And it said something like my following was 14% for UK, whereas America was at the top of the table. I was like, oh, I
And
guess I'm
and and the thing is, especially like I can tell you this from the UK, in America, I'm the first time zone you hit. So like
right.
if somebody's following you in Los Angeles, they're probably asleep when you're posting that. Like,
Yeah. Maybe I should change my times that I put stuff up to more of the American time zone, because obviously the UK don't like me that much. Don't like me enough
right.
as much as the Americans do anyway.
Well, I mean, if you were posting at this time, like
Mm.
this is afternoon in my time zone.
Yeah.
So I
Ooh,
mean,
that's interesting.
yeah,
Might do that.
so like in LA it's crap. Actually LA it's the afternoon too. It's like the beginning of the afternoon.
Oh, maybe I should do that then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I could just move to America. That would just sort myself out.
Well, I will say this. I know I told you not to last time. I'd love for you to
Yeah,
move. I'd love for you to move to America,
I'd love it.
particularly if you were like close to me, because like I'd come hang out with you, like,
I'd love that. I'd definitely love that.
because that's the thing. I want to move somewhere, but I'm like I'm not gonna know anybody. That's
Yeah.
and it's like especially now with this podcast, I'm like getting to know more and more people in Los Angeles. And I'm like, if it wasn't so fucking expensive, I'd move there. But that's like one of the most expensive places in
Oh, I
the
was gonna
U.S.
say, is Los Angeles then like our London kind of thing? London is extortionate.
Um, I would say kind of New York City
Yeah.
and LA are kind of like London. Yes, very expensive.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. As even when you go down there, it's so I'm going on this holiday next week,
Right.
and the amount that I've paid for this holiday and expenditure as well would get me about 4 days max in London. It is crazy over there. I love it. It's a beautiful
Wow.
city, but my God, it's expensive. So
Yeah.
I need to go there.
So, okay. Okay.
Ooh.
My next question for you is: so, how long have you wanted to be in a throuple?
I don't know. Do you know this is weird? I've overthought about that comment since we last spoke. I think it's just something I want to try out, kind of thing. Because I
Yeah.
was gonna try it out in the relationship that I was in. We was gonna do it, but I really noticed that because I even follow the hashtag on Instagram, gay throuple, just because I love everything about it. And I noticed very early on that it never just happens. Like, you don't go out and have dates with a third guy, like almost like an interview kind of thing. It just, from the stories that I've heard from actual thruples, it just spontaneously happens here and there. So I'm like, oh, chances of that ever happening for me. Then again, I don't want to stay in relationships for too long either, so I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Really? So you're not like a long-term person, or like you can't see yourself being a long-term person?
No, I'm very fidgety, if that makes sense. I'm very like I can I can focus on it. I can focus on one thing for so long, like a relationship, and then after that, I'm like, I need to get out. I need to do something. So
Well,
I've never. I mean, longest so far has been 6 years. So I've kind of just contradicted myself. But
yeah.
because in gay
You al
years, that's what
yeah.
30 odd years.
You also may not have met the right person.
Mm. Oh yeah, like I told you, I've been engaged twice. I know. My
Yeah.
first fiance was absolutely awful. I don't also know why I get engaged so quickly as well. That's really weird.
See, I will say that. So I was with the lo you say 6 years. The longest I've been in a relationship is a year,
Yeah.
and, like, we were talking marriage, but, like, that's a little bit, like I now notice that was, like, my first relationship, and I realized that, like, you can't be, like, planning stuff like that a
Yeah,
year
yeah,
in. You gotta be, like, at least 2, 3 years in before, like, you can
yeah,
even consider, like, thinking.
definitely. I don't even think that's the thing. I don't even think I ever actually want to get married. Definitely don't want to ever have kids. That's never. No, that's not on my books. Absolutely hate them.
Maybe I should get together with you then, because I don't want kids either.
There you go, match made in heaven. It's because I've worked with them. That was one of my jobs. I've always
Yeah,
been like either a carer or been in working in the hospitality, and in the carer it's always been either the elderly or
yeah.
young kids. And after working in that kind of environment, I'm like, my God, I never want a kid. I don't know how families. Yeah, no, it's
And
not for
it's
me.
and it's also, like, especially, I would say, like, the way I'm thinking now, I've spent so much time at home,
Mm,
like, I had moved out for 4 years, but now I'm back, so it's like, once I leave again, I don't wanna do anything soon anyway. I don't wanna, like,
yeah,
cause like, I feel cooped up in a way.
yeah. And you want to experience your life as well, don't you? Because you're
Yeah.
younger than me, aren't you? I'm
How
28.
old are you?
28.
I'll let you believe that I'm younger than you.
All right, fair news then. I was going to say
No, no, no,
you're
no,
around.
no. Fine, everyone. Probably
Yeah, you
people
were.
in my comments just say, like, admit your age. I'm 28 too. I'm turning 29
Oh,
this year.
really? Oh, I
Yeah.
can't see your comments. Damn it.
No,
Oh,
no, no,
really?
no, 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 no. I'm saying later when I post this on
Oh,
YouTube.
right, fair news. Yeah, is you do want to still live your life because even though I'm 28, I definitely don't feel it. I definitely don't think I look it either, but I definitely don't feel that. I want to be out partying and everything. Don't want to be strapped down with a kid. That's it's awful.
No, I will say that this, like, as I say, as long as I can pull off a younger age, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like on my grinder profile, it says that I'm 25, and I'm not changing that at all. Like,
Yeah, fair dues. Yeah,
it's
I think part of the Mr.Pops name, 96. I don't know why I ever picked 96. I hope it wasn't because it was a birth year because my actual birth year is 94. So I don't know why
yeah.
96 is there, but it is.
So you're turning. So your birthday, you're having. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet.
Next month. My God, this ring light. Yeah, next month, May. And I'll be 29.
I know, I'm right behind you. My birthday's the end of June. Like,
Oh. Do you know what though? I don't even think it's actually gonna bother me, if I'm honest. I still look the same. I still act the
well,
same.
that's the way I look at it. Like, I honestly haven't aged much
Huh?
since I turned like 2021. Like, I really haven't aged a lot.
Yeah. I've just grown a beard, that's all. I mean, as soon as I shave my beard, I'm starting getting ID'd in shops again and everything. The
Yeah,
rest.
yeah, yeah. Do not
So
grow in. If you want to stay looking young, do not grow in your facial hair. That will age
no,
you so quickly.
I do it. Look, plus I just go from okay looking to absolutely hideous when I have a beard. So I think I'm gonna forever stay looking a bit youngish anyway.
Because, well, it's actually a good point that you bring that up because it's like some people look great with a beard.
Yeah.
Some people, it's like they say, "I want to grow facial hair," and it's like, well, now you make yourself look ugly. Like,
Yeah. Mine comes out patcher. I look like some sort of Dalmatian when I grow a beard. Get a massive patch there. Patches here. Just doesn't look right in the slightest. Where I see guys online with these full beards that are all beautifully like cut and everything. I'm like, you bastards, how dare you? Why can't
well,
I have that?
well, it's also I've never grown out my facial hair because, like, obviously, especially now that I do drag like
Yeah,
so often, I can't like
yeah, fair
because
dues.
I saw like a drag queen recently who like for years didn't grow out their facial hair, and then all of a sudden they did, and like now when they're doing stuff, I'm like, that just looks so it looks so ugly to me. It's like,
We have a lot. I'm sure we have a lot of drag queens in the UK that do the beard
yes,
look and everything.
yes,
They'll do
yes.
different colour beards, glitter in it, everything like that.
They do the beard thing, and they do like
Yeah.
they let their leg hair grow out, and they like wear stuff like, and I'm like, listen, I get that. That's the UK. I'm in the
Mm.
US. I'm not doing that shit. I want to look good. I want to look
Yeah.
femme. I want to look like,
I think that's the amazing side of drag though, is that there's so many different takes and styles on it and everything.
yeah,
So you can have the femme side, you can have, and then even what they do as an act, like you can have the musicians, the singers, you can have the comedians, and blah blah blah. And I think drag to me is one of the most. I love it. It's one of the most expressive forms I know. Just because you can be
yeah.
anything that you want to bloody be. I couldn't do it myself. I tried once and I absolutely failed. It
Really?
was terrible. Yeah, it just didn't go well. It was Pride in Manchester, and we had a beautiful drag queen working in the bar that I was in, who did everything up for me, and I just failed. I made a mockery of drag, so I was like, I'll never do it again. I'll send a formal apology to everyone that I might have offended.
Because the thing is, like, that's shocking to me. Because like, you have a great face, so like,
What for
that.
drag?
Well, I'm just talking about you have a great face in general. That usually makes for a great drag queen.
Oh, I thought my nose was too big for it.
Well, wait. Now I'm gonna view in. No, you have kind of. I mean, your nose isn't as small as mine, but it's like your nose isn't huge.
You're gonna need a lot of shading for my nose though, just to make it look like it's not the main feature of the freaking face.
Right.
I hate my nose. If I could have ever have, like the dick surgery thing, if I could ever have actually plastic surgery anywhere, it would be my nose. Out of all of it, just shaving.
Well, you okay? I will say this: you can go down. Don't go the Michael Jackson route. Like,
No, no. I do the Henry Cavill or Savile or no, not Savile. That's bad second name. Henry Seville or I don't know what his second name is. He's got a beautiful nose. He's got a beautiful everything, that bastard. But he's got like this really shaped. I love it. I love him.
yeah.
Gay beta. And he's a nerd. I love a nerd.
Ooh,
They're like-
nerd.
yeah, they're like the best kind.
I'm trying to think. Nerd. Have I been into nerd? Yeah, I think I've been into nerds before. Yeah.
Love him. I love
I had
all of them, to be honest.
I had to think about it because like most of the time, like I'm one of those people that like goes towards what I'm like what I can like attract, and that's usually like thugs. So that's
Right. Mine's like my music taste. Like, do you know when people come up to you and is like, what's your favourite type of music and all that? And I'm one of them that goes, I just like what I'm into on the day, if that makes sense. I'll be listening to so many different types. I'll be listening to rock one minute, I'll be listening to opera the next minute, I'll be listening to club and electric, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And it's honestly like that with men, with me as well. I can like the big bears, daddies, blah, 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 1 minute, and then the next day I'll be on something completely different. And I mean, when I'm in a
Right.
dark room or a sauna, I like all of them, I guess. So
You like all of them. Got it. Slut. No, I'm kidding.
Fully agree. Right there. Oh,
So, would you ever consider making an OnlyFans?
I have done before. I want
Yeah.
to do one again in the future. I had to delete it. I don't know if you ever saw the story highlight that's on my page at the moment about that asshole in work who basically tried to just destroy my life. I had to delete it for that reason, but definitely going to maybe, well, yeah, maybe definitely got to make another one again soonish when I get my body in the kind of shape that I want it to be in.
I fucking A. I hate when skinny people say this. They're
Sorry.
like, I need to get my body in shape. It's like, for what? Like, you
Yeah,
look great. Like,
I think because social media started out with me as a kind of confidence boost and a laugh
yeah,
at the same time. So I think that's the only reason, because otherwise I couldn't give a crap. Like literally, my personality, I don't care. I'll sing in the middle of supermarkets and stuff. I'm not bothered about anything to do that. Some reason, just my body and my features and stuff. That was the main driving force of getting onto Instagram. So I think it'll be the same with stuff like OnlyFans and Twitter.
yeah,
I'd want to look at not a certain way. I won't want to look like one of them stereotypical guys that's got the big rippling six packs and blah blah blah. I'd love that, but I don't want to be that before I start an OnlyFans. I just want to be happy in what I
yeah.
see in the mirror, kind of thing.
Well, first of all, I will say this: like, abs are great to look at. I'm gonna talk like I've ever had them, please. But it's like that seems like a lot of work
Yeah,
to keep them up, and like,
yeah, it's very true. I tried to do a workout. I've bought a workout app and everything. Every single minute that I'm on Instagram and I'm going through all the reels or whatever they're called on Instagram, I'm constantly liking these beautiful looking guys going, "Oh, you only have to do this exercise for 3 sets for 10 minutes, blah blah blah." I'm like, I'll like that for later. I think all of my likes now is just videos like that, and I haven't done one of them. not, not.
well, it's also probably like bullshit. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, true. I think social media in general is bloody bullshit. That's probably why I took my time actually making videos and stuff. Just because I'm like, oh my god, what do I actually have to do? I don't ever want to do talking videos. I'll be cancelled in a minute.
well, I mean, listen, we all are gonna be because Lord knows I'm interviewing people. At some point, I'm gonna say something. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
when.
absolutely.
I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna be well, actually. I did I did not this week, but last week I actually got called out on an interview by a guest when like they were doing something. I was asking them about doing like sort of like Latin music, being white. They're like, "I'm not white." I'm like, I'm like,
Oh,
and I don't mind that. It's like call me out if I'm wrong.
yeah.
Like
It's
it's
more the
like
intentional side of things, though, isn't it?
yeah,
Like, obviously, that that wasn't coming from a place in you that hated that person in any sort of way,
yeah,
or that was trying to harm the community in any sort of way. And I would never ever do that. But
yeah,
I've been getting scared with, and especially the way the TikTok algorithm crap works. I won't pretend to fully understand it, but like literally, I watched one video on, let's say, trans rights, and every single video nearly that follows now is just a complete. My TikTok's turned into a political thing, whereas before it was just cats falling over and stuff like that. And now, and I'm like, oh my god, do I? It's like you can't say a thing. Not, no, that sounds bad. You've got to be very mindful of what you say. And I'm not that. I'm not that person. From the working environment that I have, I I'd be too scared to actually make videos and actually voice my opinion on stuff because I'll be like, oh, people are going to hate me in a moment. it's it's a given.
Well, if you do like theoretically, if you were to do like a show and you were to is put opinion in the title, like
Yeah.
you could get away with it. Like I used to do a show on Twitch called The Opinionated Bitch, where I would essentially just
Ooh.
like I'd like pick a topic, look up
Yeah.
some facts. After I spewed the facts, I'd be like, okay, this, and this
Yeah.
is what I have to say about this. One of them I was talking with somebody about is gun control. It's something to where like I see graphs and you're talking about like you have every other country like all the way down here on a graph, and then you have the
Yeah.
United States all the way up here on the graph, and it's
Yeah.
like people think like that's fine. I'm like, that's
It's
not fine
crazy.
at all.
That's one thing that's really bugged me recently. And sorry, because I'm not a political
Yeah.
person in the slightest. I won't even pretend to know what I'm fully saying when I talk about these kind of subjects. But that's one thing that has just flooded my TikTok recently. It's obviously the shootings that have happened. And for some reason on my TikTok, it's all about what gender the shooter was and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like, it's about that gun control, what you were saying.
Yeah,
But
that
that
was the
aspect is
that
gone.
was the trans shooter that happened in
Mm.
yeah, and everyone was talking about that. It's like and
It's
that's okay.
scary for me. It is.
Yeah.
It's really scary because I've also got trans friends, um, especially from like the bars that I used to work in and stuff. And with the job that I'm in now, because we have to go through a quality and diversity training. So the service users that we have, the people that I look after, we not train them. That's really bad. We teach them in a completely different way as what people are seeing on TikTok right now, which is basically people's opinions, but it's very aggressive opinions. It's like from both sides, which is really scary. It's like, if you do not agree with my opinion, you are wrong. Like, we literally have a woman. No, I'm so sorry, I might have misgendered someone then. We literally have a person in the UK, I think, that have been cancelled now, who on the video said to part of the LGBT and has
Yeah.
said to the wrong community, like, if you don't agree with my opinion, you're not gay, you're just sad. And it's like, no, people have their own set opinions on things, and that is
Yeah.
actually a beautiful thing to have. But yeah, that is what has been TikTok for me recently, is just literally a bombardment of craziness. We don't teach our service users about that. We teach our service users about uniqueness and individuality. So we will have service users that are struggling to come out gay, or are trying to understand basic parts of life, like being a different race, being a bit different sexuality. And
What?
yeah, honestly, it's because it's people who's lived through trauma. So we
Yeah.
get people that are at their wits' end, really aggressive, can be very abusive and everything like that. And yeah, we teach when we do it. I've had people that are coming in that have had the mindset to unalive gay people and everything like that. And then there's me there. I'm the only gay person in the actual workplace, and I've had to work with these people. And the way that we teach them, we've 100% throughout the time, we've had people coming in with these kind of mindsets and leaving like, I can't actually understand that I've ever had that mindset before. But you won't get that on TikTok. TikTok's like a war ground at the minute. It's weird.
So in other words, you have people there like Kanye West.
Basically, the nuts. They're absolutely nuts.
That's why like I see that stuff, and at some point my response is for like his situation, you have friends. Why are your friends letting
Mm.
you go out there and say this?
Yeah.
Like if I had a friend like that, I don't care if I got to fly on a plane, and I don't care if you'll hate me forever. I am putting you in an institution to like help you
Yeah.
because you need help.
People can have, and that's a part of our workplace as well, is understanding where these views have actually began and everything. Because when I say, like, the amount of training that we have to do in our work is extensive, it's insane. I'm just going through a master's at the minute with it, but you also have to do like psychology, therapy, epigenetics, epigenetics, everything. And it's understanding also like, so basically people will, it sounds really weird, people can be homophobic from past relatives. I know that sounds so bizarre, but it's the
No.
part of the epigenetic. Oh my god, can't even say it now.
Eh, eh,
Epigenetics.
eh,
It's
oh,
part of that side of things where, and it's the nature versus nurture side. We have people coming in that have spat in my face, took TVs off walls and smashed it over the back of my head, like smashed windows of the house and then held the shards of glass to my throat and everything, shouting every kind of hateful thing you can say towards a gay person. Doesn't faze me. I've worked in bars, so I've had drunk straight people coming in before, screaming stuff in my face. But I promise you, these kind of people, the way that we work with them, I've walked out like, I can't believe I ever had that view. But I know that if you took them people to social media and they had them views, they'd be like, that person shouldn't be around. They won't get to know, like, these people have been brought up. It's a part of
yeah.
culture. It's another thing with culture is that, again, because of social media at the minute, people think culture is just down to race and sexuality and stuff. That's culture, like
No.
and yeah, it's like, do you know when you think of, if I said think of Asian culture, literally straight away you'll start thinking of this beautiful values and everything like that. But culture also has the dark side of things, where it's the way, unfortunately, kids have been brought up by abusive and neglective parents. And then they go on to foster their views. And it's like, that's where the hatred also comes from.
Right.
But
I,
I know at the minute, people won't be willing to teach them that. They'll just go, you're wrong. Get out of society.
okay, speaking of that, I'm actually going to
Sorry,
skip. I'm
that went on
actually.
for a while, didn't it?
No, 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 no. You bringing up culture, I actually had a culture question in here.
Oh,
It was
no.
no, it was towards the end, but I'll ask it now.
Yeah.
So, do people of all ages make such a big deal about the royal family as older English and English people in the
No.
like living in the US do?
No, it's kind of like dependent on the person. It used So the older generation in the UK kind of are more fond of the royal family than anyone else. They take much more of an interest in it.
Yeah,
My generation are kind of like, all right. To to me personally, the royal family are just like a kind of posher version of the Kardashians. They're just TV personalities to me. They don't do anything for me. They're like,
right.
it's, and especially the amount of scandals of that has been coming out of them recently. It's well, over the past few years, it's hard to view them as this kind of respectable group that you look up to. It's like, hang on, you've got child, in your family, you've got the amount of controversy that's come from bleeding the sons. Yeah, no, it's very, if you go to different people in the UK, they'll either be like, "Oh my god, yeah, they're so patriotic. We love the royal family," and you'll get also people like me that like, I don't give a crap. They're just other people to me.
Well, see, that's why like when the queen died, I was the person like everyone was talking about it at my work, and then
Mm,
I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like,
yeah,
it's like
it
first
was.
of all,
It was. Yeah. Oh,
she
sorry.
was an no, she was an old lady. Of course she died. She's
Yeah,
fucking old. Like that's
it was. It was.
hello.
Yeah, it was very hard hitting for people of the UK, even though I don't care about the royal family. And
Yeah,
also, I also take in mind things that have happened way in the past. And I know there's been changes, blah, 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 what people want to say, but I
yeah,
still never paid an interest in them. But when the Queen died, it was so weird because although I didn't care, there was this massive shock. It's like everything stood still in the UK for a minute, only because the Queen, she was like, because she was a constant, especially in someone of my age and even older. I mean, because she was so old when she went, she was
yeah.
basically there, whether we liked it or not, throughout our entire lives. So it kind of became one of them figures, like a kind of, this sounds like a stupid connection to it, but like when kids are thinking of Santa, and they've been there for so long, and they hold them up with such high, they hold Santa up with such high praise, and then one day they just
Right.
don't believe in
Find
it
out
anymore.
this. Yeah, find
Yeah,
out the Santa's not real.
yeah, and it was not to that extent, obviously, but because she
Yeah.
was so around for so long, and she literally did become a part of the family to every household in the UK. It was like, even for people like me who don't give a crap, when it happened, I was like, oh my god, this is big. Like her passing, that was absolutely crazy. And now
Right.
we've been landed with him, haven't we? So I can see he's trying to make changes and all that, and I can see he's trying to learn, but they should just get rid of the royal family. I don't need them.
Because my thing is, like, I understand, like, when certain celebrities die. Like,
Mm.
I know, like, and I'm gonna use an example of an older celebrity. I love Cher.
Oh yeah,
I know the day that Cher dies, it's gonna like get to me
yeah,
because like
absolutely.
or like
She's been,
Madonna, Lady Gaga, like that. I'm not obsessed with like if the president died.
mm,
Well, actually, depending on which one.
yeah. But the other three that you mentioned have all been
Yeah,
pillars of our community in some way or like some form of way. They've
yeah,
all done something to help us. So yeah, absolutely. When they go, don't hate me for it, but I'm like, I'm not even a massive Madonna fan or anything like that. Lady Gaga, to an extent, I'm not. You won't catch me listening to the music religiously or anything. Fucking ring light. I'm so sorry. It's peeing me right off. But
yeah,
still, absolutely, when they do go, it's going to be like, oh my god, that person who represented us for a certain amount of time,
yeah,
who's done so much for us, has actually gone. It's like someone's, well, it is someone's left your life, hasn't they? And
yeah.
it's an
Well,
adjustment.
I know I mentioned U.S. artists. I know UK artists. One of my like favorite, probably like male musicians, like gay, is Years and Years. Like, you don't like them?
No, no, I don't know why. He's done nothing to me. I bet
Yeah.
he's the most loveliest person. It's just like the same with James Corden. I'm so glad that you guys have took him off of us.
I've heard. Well, this is the thing with James Corden. I've heard he's a fucking asshole, so I don't like him at all. Like,
Well, yeah, I went off the thought of James Corden. He did that show, Gavin and Stacey here, that was like one of the biggest hits, blah blah blah. And then what did it for me was they had an award ceremony with him, and basically what he did was Gavin and Stacey got awards for every single thing at this award ceremony, but didn't get it for one particular category, and he kicked off a massive fuss. You know, like Kanye West with leading Taylor Swift and
yeah,
Beyonce.
yeah, yeah.
He basically did that, and I was just like, done, absolutely done with you. So when I noticed that he moved over the pond, I was like, good luck. Have that one if you don't want him.
No, I want him to get canceled. Like,
Yeah.
I am very much someone who, if late night TV had one woman host, I would
Yeah.
watch them all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's all men over here. It's literally, it's not only that, it's all white men over here. Like,
Oh, we have all elderly ladies, white elderly ladies, and
that's
it's
not that is definitely not true at all.
oh, in a lot of them. We've got this show. I've hated it since the moment it came out. We've got this show called Loose Women. That absolutely
I
hate it.
Well,
I,
okay. I've only watched clips of it when they've had somebody on that I've liked. Like one of the ones
yeah.
I've watched of them was, and I'm going to use an American who's actually big over where you are, Anastasia.
Oh my god, yes, love her.
Yeah,
I
I love Anastasia. She's one of my
yeah.
favorite singers of all time. Like,
She came to my hotel once. She had some weird requests. That woman. Well, she only had one weird request, if I'm honest. But she wanted her mat. She want in a bedroom. She wanted nothing, but she wanted no mattress, just wooden boards on a bed instead of a mattress. And we went okay. So we had to go out and source wooden boards so she could sleep on that instead of a mattress for the night. I was like,
but
what a weird little thing to ask
even
for.
that, it's like I don't care. Like you saying that, like,
I love her.
she's like, and I found her from like somebody from the I think it was like Italy, like put her in
Mm.
one of those like videos where they compare like the worst singers to the divas, and I heard
Oh,
that, and I heard Anastasia like, I'm like, who is this Anastasia? I fucking
yeah.
love her. Like,
She's got such a distinct voice, hasn't she?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I've got her on my playlist. I think she's brilliant. But yeah, no, that Loose Women is utter crap. They've tried to do this thing. It's very, very forced. And if you talk to other British people, they'll say the same. There's a lot of the guilt is showing in a lot of like TV shows. So basically, they're trying so hard to prove to people that they're not like basically racist in any way and stuff like that. And you're like, hang on, we know your past and stuff. But
yeah,
basically, like they try so hard at it that it's really cringe-worthy to see. So recently, the whole entire cast of Loose Women has changed, which about time anyway, because I thought a lot of them were going to pass away with their age. But it's basically a show of women that literally just have really backwards views, and this is you used to have the View, don't you? Where it's like
yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So ours is basically this table of women that can say the most backwards things and be like, but it's fine for us to say, but if blah blah, if you say it, then it's wrong. It's like we had this woman on there who I adored because she was also an amazing singer, but she turned around and related gay people to terrorists, like who literally. She was like, well, what if Al Qaeda come in? It was about a cake shop, a Christian cake shop that didn't want to put two grooms on top of a cake, and it made the news. It was like, oh, come on.
but but
Yeah,
I would.
yeah.
This is like annoying me because like we had this topic in the
Mhm.
U.S. like 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it might even have
Yeah,
been the same topic. It might have
yeah,
been the exact because it was around that time with her. But she basically turned around and she was like, "Yeah, but it's okay for them to say no to putting two males on the cake," which I'm equally not bothered if they was to say no. They can do that. But she turned around and a parting shot was because what if it was like Al Qaeda coming in and asking to
oh
put
god,
them on top of the cake? And I was like, she received so much backlash that she had to delete her social media and stuff. And she said it was because she wasn't feeling well. But she literally just related an entire community to a load of extremists. And he was like, I
right.
was like, this is, I hate UK TV so much. It's so
Well,
bad.
okay. I will say this: you have, at least that I know of, you have one good talk show over there
Which
that I
one?
would, Graham Norton.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that man. He's so good.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you have Graham Norton, you have something like,
Yeah. We used to have the Alan Carr show. If you've never watched
yeah,
that,
yeah,
you'll
of
find
course,
it.
of course,
Oh, I
yeah.
love that man. He's so good. But yeah, I stopped watching. I live on Netflix now. I don't watch UK TV anymore. It's
That's
just
the thing. Like my dad has like satellite TV, but like in my
mm,
room, all I have is like a Roku. So like I
right.
live off of that.
Plus, I don't get bleeding time to with all the 24-hour shifts. I don't get time to
Yeah.
watch anything anyway.
The only thing that like I would watch on cable is Drag Race, but it's like
Mm,
when I move, I'll just move into a city and go watch it
yeah.
at a bar where I don't have to pay for cable. Like
Oh, we don't get that here, I don't think. And I love that because I've seen that a load on like videos online and stuff where in
they don't
America
have they don't
you
have
have
viewing parties?
no, not that I
Really?
know of anyway. JY, which is a bar that's in Manchester and in London,
Mhm.
they did do it for a little bit, but I don't recall seeing it done anywhere else. And it's a really fun idea because I've seen it on videos and I'm like, oh, I kind of love that. But I stopped watching Drag Race about 2 seasons ago now. I might pick back up with it. It just became a little bit too predictable for me. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of done with it.
Well, I will say this. I don't This season in the US was like the first time where I actually knew like two of the contestants before they
All
were
right.
on. So like they were actually like twins. So it was like
Oh, was that Sugar and Spice, or
like Sugar and Spice. Yeah, I
yeah.
knew them before they went on. Like that was the only
Oh,
reason. Like, but like this is the first season I had watched one, and I'm like, I know who that they are. Like,
oh, I love that. I don't know any of them. In the bars, we used to book a lot of them, so I was always in the smoking area with Kimchi. She was
yeah,
amazing. But whoever the person was that was with Kimchi at the time was awful. I think it was just someone that was looking after her. But it was
oh,
like, yeah, I was outside. It was my workplace, so I was outside having a cig, and Kimchi came out, and we was both just having a cig with each other and laughing. He was like, "You can't be talking to Kimchi." What? Why? She's just another human being. Um, and yeah, I've met loads of them off of it. Actually, I can't think which one has ever actually like peed me off though. Alyssa Edwards arrived 3 hours or 2 hours late to my
girl,
gig.
don't tell me
I
that.
was like,
That's well, that's Alyssa Edwards' reputation. It's like,
yeah, I was like, wow, I wish I could do that.
and it's like, I don't know. For me, like in terms of like trying to get stuff done on time,
Yeah,
it was like drilled into me starting in high school because I used to be in like chorus in high school, and like I had someone who's like, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, don't bother showing up. Like
I've
that
heard
was
that.
drilled into my head. Like
Yeah, definitely.
that's why
I,
like
I,
when
I
I hear
can't be late for anything.
drag queen showing up 3 hours early, I'm like, bitch, I feel bad when I show up 15 minutes or when I start something
Yeah,
15 minutes late.
I can't be late. I'm coming out of that a little bit now, but my God, I feel like I feel unwelcomed in the place straight away if I'm late in any sort of way. But yeah, we had a bar called Cruise 101, and she like literally we was waiting. And we was like, she will be starting soon, guys. I promise she will be starting soon. It's like 2 to 3 hours rock by, and she finally come in, swore at everyone, did a show and everything, which was amazing. And it was
Yeah.
like, bye, and walked out. I was like, wow, I love that. I wish I had that kind of, I don't know,
That that's so
confidence.
that's so diva. I will say this: if I were to ever like sing live somewhere, I couldn't do that because
Yeah.
I have to do sound check. I have to make sure my mic's gonna
Mm.
work. I have to do all that. Like there's so much like as a musician where you just can't. You have to
Yeah.
show up on time. Like
Yeah. I think the most unprofessional one that we had was Fifi O'Hara. And it's literally because she just didn't turn up at all. She's like, no, can't be bothered. And just didn't. We had people waiting. And yeah, she's just like, oh, actually, guys, by the way, she's cancelled last minute and she's not coming. It's like, no reason. She just decided she didn't want to do it. Like, wow, you can't do that to people.
well, I mean, look, well now Fifi O'Hara is not doing drag, so maybe she did have a reason.
Ah, right, fair dues. Oh, I
Anyway,
don't keep up on it as much as I used to. I used to absolutely love it. And then it just, I don't know what season it was, but I could literally predict what was going to happen in the next episode. And then, of course, I saw a lot of drag queens on, because I followed the Trixie and Catty show religiously.
yeah,
Absolutely love it. Actually got me out of some dark times, that
yeah,
like show.
yeah,
I was watching that, and then obviously you get loads of suggestions of other things to watch because you're watching that, and it was just a load of drag queens like, yeah, the cameramen turn around to us and say, right, we want you to make up a conversation with this person. I'm like, oh, so the illusion of it went for me then. I was like,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I haven't stopped watching it. I know all this stuff, but it's like in
yeah,
terms of me auditioning for it, I don't think I would do it mainly because I would get read for stuff that like I don't do. Like
right,
I don't pad honestly because I don't need to.
yeah. I don't think that's a problem because
Yeah,
it's all about individual styles of drag on there, and that was a big problem at one point with it as well, wasn't it? That
yeah. Here's
it,
the other thing. Here's the other thing that
oh no,
I
oh
know
no,
I would get read for, but
you don't.
I know how to like disguise it. I don't tuck either, so it's like
I knew that was
so,
coming.
so it's like
Hey, why not confuse people? That's what we're here for. Go down well.
but it's like my view is like to me, especially like being a live musician, it's like okay. So I'm already zipped up into a bodysuit. I already
Mhm.
know that I'm not going to be able to pee anyway. So now you want
Yeah.
me to stick my dick up and like stick, and you want me to be even more uncomfortable than I
Yeah.
already
You're
am?
not
No,
asking for
thank
a
you.
lot at all.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
I'm
I
like,
couldn't. I have utter respect. I could not do it.
no, I couldn't do it either. Like,
Yeah. And the thing is, that's what I was saying before about drag as well, though. Is, all the different avenues that there is of it, all the different personalities. You don't need to.
yeah,
Like, that's just one. That's just one section of drag to be ultra feminine. Like to really try and make people guess and everything. But we also have drag over here, which is a group of nuns that literally have beards, wear sunglasses, but are dressing up as nuns. And they're hilarious. They're absolutely
yeah.
brilliant. They support a really good cause and everything. But still, it's like, I wouldn't walk up to them and go, drag on first appearance. So you don't need to fit into a certain type of box with it. That's what I love about it.
No,
Still, could never do it myself though. Still, I tried, failed.
right. Okay. I'm going back to my question. So, if you could move anywhere outside of the UK, where would you want to move?
Gran Canaria, 100%. Where I'm going in a week. It's
Yeah.
my home away from home. That this the locals that live there are just beautiful. Not but also, yeah, beautiful in both senses. Such nice people. But it's like one of the most welcoming gay places ever going, and that's what I want for myself in the future. Is just to be somewhere where I'm not particularly too afraid to be who I am on the streets and stuff. Because I still won't hold hands with anyone over here.
Really?
Oh yeah, people will. It might just be my own little qualm, but I won't. I can't do it. Don't like it. It makes me feel unsafe straight away, so I just don't.
Well, I mean, I've done it before. Like, I've like kissed a boyfriend in public before, but I
Mhm.
but I also like the size of me. I look like I could beat the shit out of somebody. Like,
Yeah,
so nobody's gonna mess with me. Like,
I can hold my own as well easily. I've done it. I've had to do it
yeah,
quite a few times. I've also been beat the hell up, but I can hold my own with people. It's just that I think it's that avoidance thing where you I tend to not put myself in that situation to begin with. And it's like I will walk through our city centre in Manchester. I'll walk all
yeah.
around it, and if I'm with someone, I will not hold hands. As soon as I get to the gay area, I'll hold hands, kiss, and everything like that.
Okay,
And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Right,
yeah, it's really weird. However, when I'm in Gran Canaria, I don't think it's just because it's a holiday, because I've been on holiday in places and still haven't held hands and kissed. But I just feel myself when I'm there. Everyone's lovely, and it's
right.
like biggest gay atmosphere. If you ever do a pride once in your life, you need to try out Gran Canaria. It is phenomenal.
Right.
It's also really
That's
dirty. It's too much sex. That's probably why I like it so much.
there ain't nothing wrong with sex. Like,
Oh, it's ruthless over there though. They opened up they opened up Gran Canaria when it was mid COVID. And it was like, right, we'll relax things. People still have to wear the masks. You can't dance and all that. So they still had a lot of restrictions in, but they was trying the best because it's just a small island. It
yeah,
really suffered money wise. There was like we're going gay pride over there is pride is like one of the biggest money earners for them. At one point, just for 1 week, they earned 10 million through it. It is massive, and they let Pride go ahead, even though they wasn't planning on doing it. And COVID rates shot up because everyone just
right,
wouldn't stop fucking. It was just like we passed that shit around in a minute. It was
right.
brilliant.
So, speaking of sex,
Oh yeah,
my next question is: have you ever had sex in public before?
yeah. Um, yeah, 100%. Quite a few times. Um, it might actually just be easier to list off the places that I've definitely never done it on a train before.
Right.
That's about it. Everywhere else, fair game, I've done it.
See, my thing is, at least when I've done it, I am a person, but we're not doing anything during the day.
Right.
Like, you want to
Yeah.
do stuff at night, I'm all about that. I've had people invite me to like places at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're like, "We're gonna go in this bathroom." I'm like, "Are you fucking insane? Of course I'm not doing that."
I've done it. As long as I'm not around people, obviously that's a given. But I mean, like, as long as it's not a risk of getting caught, because I don't want people to see that. I don't
Yeah,
want people to see what I'm doing and everything.
yeah,
So,
like I,
mm,
yeah, like I would do something like in like a like quote unquote family bathroom at a mall where you could like lock the door, but like
yeah,
just being out in public, not knowing if you're gonna get caught. No, I'm not.
I love it. I mean, even if you went on my Twitter and you saw the amount of accounts that I'm following, I think like half of them are all just like one of them's like cruising this, cruising that. And I don't know why, it just fascinates me. I love it. But even well, like when you go Gran Canaria, they've got sand dunes there, which basically just looks like a desert. And one side of it is all just for gay guys going up. We call them the meerkats because when you're looking out over, you'll just see naked guys stood there just like looking for people. It's bad. It's rife. It's so rife that they endangered a species of lizard with how much they was fucking on the sand dunes.
What?
Yeah, we went.
That sounds nuts. Like,
Yeah, it went in the news and everything. I was crying with laughter. Basically, what they did was they was banging so much in the dunes and leaving the condoms behind that the lizards were eating them and dying. So the gays nearly wiped out a species of lizards in Gran Canaria. I
leave
was
it
like,
up to gay people to be like so fucking irresponsible.
and such a creative way to kill off a species as well. I loved it. But they don't stop. They're still doing it. Even though police patrol the beach and everything. They're like, oh, still, bang's the bang.
No,
Go
because
over
like,
there.
for example, like I would say like the place that I used to work in Orlando, like it was a gay hotel, but you used to see stuff all the time. I literally saw somebody like in the middle of the courtyard, like making out with somebody and pulling their pants down as they were like in
I'd
the
love
middle of the
that.
courtyard.
I'd
And it's
love
like
that.
it
In the gay
sucks.
hotel.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd
yeah,
love that.
yeah. But the cops were there. Like the cops were like right outside.
Oh, do you know what? I do wonder though, because it always pops up because of the amount of cruising and public stuff I actually follow on Twitter. I always see it's always in America, it's never anywhere else. But like they look like prides and stuff. It's just a big street party. And people are just like fucking in the street. And there's people watching. Like there's people just going past and stuff. And they're just banging in the street. I'm like, where
That
are these
cannot be
parties?
America. There's no way that can be America.
Yes,
Like,
I've heard American accents in it. I mean,
uh,
if it's not, wherever it is I'm moving to, but I just need to find out where it is. Because I was like, oh my God, it's just people just stood there at a big party, just like watching them. I was like,
well,
that's
I will. Well, I will say this. Like, speaking of this hotel, it's not open anymore. I wish it
oh,
was. I wish it was. They closed during COVID because they just couldn't like afford to stay open because
yeah,
they didn't have like enough business like getting people
yeah.
to check into hotels. So it was like,
Happened to a lot here too, that.
yeah. But like when I used to perform, there used to be like this guy that would like hit me up after I was done, and like he's like, "Do you want to get your dick sucked?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we used to like go back. There was like a beach, and like
Oh,
I let him do his thing, and like I
that
left.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, I did like 10 times probably. Like
I've only ever, the only job that I've ever been in that's been like that was a gay sauna that's in the centre of Manchester. And it was all fun and games and everything. They said on day one when they was training you up that you literally couldn't do anything with the guests that was coming to use the service. And we was like, all right, well, of course, that's the only reason why we're working here. So it's like, we'll tell you that we're not going to do it. We're going to do it.
yeah,
And then,
because you
yeah,
probably got paid. You probably got paid shit anyway. Like
yeah. But
so, you
it
might as
just
well.
all took a turn. Someone died, and there was like, all right, we're not working here anymore then. Just we're done. So I've not been there since.
Right.
I've gone working one of them ones again. Definitely. That was like literally you was getting paid to just go in and bang people. I'm not making myself look good, am I?
No, I mean, you're being real. That's shit.
Yeah.
That's why I say things. That's why, like, somebody, when they hit me up, they're like, "You're so open and honest with your guests." I'm thinking, yeah, that's how you get people to trust you. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's truthful. Yeah, I like that more than watching someone who's clearly watching what they're saying every 2 seconds. You're like, oh god, this is boring as shit. That I like it when people are just don't
yeah.
give a crap. It's better anyway.
So, how old were you the first time you had sex?
Oh, I'm gonna hazard to say I was like 15, 15 or 14.
Lucky bastard.
It wasn't even a good. It wasn't even a good setting as well. Like, bear with me because it's going to start off sounding like I've had sex with an old person. I've not, I promise. But it was in a retirement home, so it was not the kind of beautiful, picturesque what you always fantasize in your first time is going to be. It was literally I met someone that I knew was gay for the first time, and I was like, we should bang because I know you're gay, you know I'm gay, so we're safe. Let's do it. And it was someone my age, but we were both carers at the time, kind of
Yeah.
carers. We was volunteering, so it was like toilets now. It's like, yeah, all right then. So yeah, I don't even
Oh, you were
remember having
volunteering,
it.
so it didn't even matter if you got fired. Like,
No, definitely not. No, but yeah, it was like, right, this is clearly going to work. But yeah, I actually wish it would have been done in a different way, not necessarily more romantic or anything, but like I can't even remember a proper thing about it. It was just, nah. It was just
but
like having a hookup in a bar.
as someone who was older, because, like, well, okay. I always say I have three answers when this is like, I sucked dick at a certain age, I
Yeah,
topped at a certain age, and then I bottomed at a certain age. So it was 21, 22, and 23. So it was like,
yeah.
and the reason why I started topping first, I don't like topping. Like, that's just not my thing, but it's like,
I don't mind it. I
I
really,
get
really,
bored.
really like it.
I get bored. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I do. It's just,
I don't like the workout side of it, but I do like. For some reason, I get a different personality when I'm a top rather than when I'm a bottom. It's very weird, but I like it.
but the reason why, like, I had, like, was so, like, anxious about being a bottom is because, like, when I, like, started doing stuff with guys, I had this guy who's, like, kind of, like, a little bit forceful, and he, like,
Mm.
tried to go in me with no lube, and, like,
Oh, oh no.
that is one of those things where I'm like, I am never doing this
Yeah,
again.
not the great first experience that you wanted.
No, and I'm like, now it's like, I want to say I could take almost anything, but I don't. I don't want to. I don't. I'm not loose. Like, that's.
There's nothing wrong with being a loose person anyway. I don't think. I've
No,
had
no, no.
loads
I'm
of
saying
loose
I'm not
people.
loose, like, as in, like, physically. Like,
Yeah, like wait. So yeah, loose as in like
my hole's not loose. My hole's very
yeah,
tight.
yeah. I don't think there's any problem with that.
What?
Yeah, no, I really don't. I don't. In fact, to some extent, I enjoy it more. Because I've also
Really?
been in scenes, it's never happened to me, but I've also been in scenes where people get fisted and stuff like that. And so it's like,
Yeah, yeah, no.
no.
I had someone who's like, I'm into that. I'm like, great. You're not doing that with me. You could do it with somebody else. I'm not volunteering for that. No.
But I did it unplanned one night and I was like, okay then. Well, we're here now then. This is where I've arrived. It was a lot going on. There was quite a lot of us all in the same room. And someone was like, right, you'll go.
So,
And literally took their hand out and put mine in. I was like, whoa, here we go.
oh, you did it to somebody. You haven't
Oh,
had it
yeah, yeah.
done. You haven't had it done to you.
No, but I don't know if I'd do it one day. Am I naive in thinking that if I do it, it's going to cause like irreversible damage? Damage.
I would. Well, listen. I've seen crazy shit. So, like, a fist is like nothing. I saw somebody once. Don't ask me how I saw this, but I saw somebody once, like, sitting on a traffic cone, and I'm like,
Oh, I've seen stuff like that.
and I'm like, but how could a man bring you pleasure if that's what you're looking for? Like,
Yeah, I've had that. Well, it's still going to feel the same for them, though, isn't it? It's still going to be sense. It's like because it's basically your prostate in it, which they're
yeah,
hitting, and that's not going to move no matter what kind of size or objects you put up there. It's not going to be. It might not be hugging you anymore, but that prostate's still going to be there, so you're still bashing the same area. I bet it still feels the same.
yeah,
Fingers.
but it also like, ugh, it sounds painful. Like,
I love it. I really do.
I'm not talking about being fisted. I'm talking about like taking a traffic cone. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, no, I've not tried that one yet. No. No, I mean, like, it's because I've been with like quite a few guys that have been loose before, and it's just like so much better because then you could, well, to put it bluntly, you can last a lot longer as well. So I always appreciate that. I hate
yeah,
tight
I
bars.
am someone like I love multi-comers because
Mm.
it's like because the fact that I'm so tight, like
Oh, I
I need
wish I was
someone.
that person.
My friends with benefits is he's someone who can like go. I think after about 4 loads, I need to clean out.
How does he do that? What the hell?
It's just one after the other. Like,
I do one. I get I do one, I go silent, I get cake from the fridge, I put my headphones in and listen to ballads, and I'm done. My interest in sex is gone. Straight after that first, well, boom, my interest in it is gone. I'm elsewhere. I'm saying sorry to Jesus, and I'm getting in bed early. But like, I don't get the people that can go like once and then just give it a tiny bit longer and then, oh, I can go again. Oh, like, oh, God, no.
well, no, you're talking about somebody who's taking a break. I'm talking about his dick never leaves me. Like,
No, can't. I wish. I wish. No, unless I've
he's
had a
very
lot of
good.
drinks
He's
down
very
there.
good. He's very
Oh,
good. I like him
please.
a lot.
If I've had a crap ton of like drinks, no, not drinks. Actually, drink doesn't need to be involved in it. If I'm in the right environment, say from like I'm on one of the gay cruise ships or in a sauna or something. Oh my god, go over and
Yeah,
over again. But I can't do the multi. I can't multi like he does. Gee, that's a gift sent from heaven. That.
right. I can't either. Like, I'm someone like.
Do you think it's something that you can train to do? Because I'm a
Okay.
body.
I know this about him. He doesn't like jerk off at all. So like,
Oh, I'm
maybe
screwed.
that's
Screwed. That's a daily occurrence unless I'm in work. I can't do it when I'm in work, obviously.
same.
But that's a
Same.
daily occurrence. That.
Same. I used to be like a night person, but then like all of a
Mm.
sudden I just transitioned to like doing it in the morning, and because I used to have that mindset of like, well, if I do it in the morning, I'm not going to get any work done. I'm going to be like unproductive, and then I'm like, literally, my thing is I can't do this anymore with my new work schedule. But I used to be like, jerk off, take a nap, wake up, go to work, and like,
Mine hits me at any point of the day. It's like I'll almost forget that I enjoy doing that, and then at some point of the day it'll be like, oh, it's time to do this now. Oh, right, okay. Twitter, boom, 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 straight away. And then I'm
definitely,
like, so yeah, it's never. Am I alright to run to the toilet really quickly?
yeah, God,
Yeah, because this place is going to get flooded in 2 seconds. Sorry about that.
You're good.
God.
All right.
Oh, it's an
So,
out of water drink.
right. So my next question, I think this is going to be a lot, but ideally, how many times a week would you have sex if you could have sex like a set amount of times in a week?
What, like a kind of how many days in the week would you do it, or like literally a total amount of what you could do?
You could give me both. I'm like,
Daily. Love that. Daily. But
same.
yeah, I like to, yeah, meet new people. Not necessarily like the same person every single bloody day of the week. Yeah, and as many times as possible. People on the Instagram bleeding messages will definitely know already. I still need to get back to a load of them. This is not working. Yeah, daily would be amazing.
Yeah.
You've seen the content that I put up daily. It's clearly because
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm ready. Give me more.
Right.
In an ideal
So,
world.
yeah, in an ideal world.
Mm,
Although I also feel like that's something where like that's a great fantasy, but like then once you start like doing it,
yeah,
it get boring.
I think they would. Unless that's why I probably was thinking like the kind of not necessarily with tied to the same kind of person kind of thing. I think if it
Right.
was you're meeting someone else here, there, and everywhere. Oh, that
Right.
sounds really slutty of me. I just mean different people in general. I don't know. It's always like a really nice experience to do it with someone new. So I think that's the way I'd be all right doing it more often
Right.
than not. When you like when it's just normal, bog standard
Yeah.
sex, I'm kind of like, oh, that I've perfected the technique with my hand. I'll rely on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's just boring sex.
So, leading to that question, have you
Oh,
ever been have you no. No, this is good. Have you ever been in an open relationship?
oh yeah, absolutely. Been in two, and it was both of them were completely different from the one previous. Um, Only because my take on it. So I've been the one that's instigated it both times. But it sounds so. I know there's going to be people like, "Oh, shut up, you're just not happy," and it's not that at all. Um, it's actually the complete opposite. I've had open relationships because I was so happy and was like, "Oh my god, let's try something new."
Yeah.
Right, and there's always set rules and everything as well. Like you'd never. So some of the rules that I had was like, never do the same person more than once because it's. Does it sound bad? We was kind of just using them as like a toy. We would want getting to know them in any way. It wasn't like we wanted to be friends with this person. It was just like,
No, like that doesn't sound bad at all. Like
yeah,
that's
we was just having like a bit of a thrill night. So we was like, right, we'll find
yeah.
this person on Grinder or whatever. But then we would make sure that that is the first and last time that we'd see that person because we equally didn't want them to get the wrong idea as well. That we was kind of like open for it at the time. It was just because we trusted each other so much. Like we also wouldn't do anything separately. I'm not that kind of person. I've thought about it and I can't be. I think if my partner was to turn around to me and go, "Oh, I've just shagged this person while you were out doing get off you," I've just I've just shagged this person while you was at work or something. I'd be like, no, not at all. That kind of
Well,
stuff can set me off.
I mean, to that end, I have also been
Mm,
in open relationships. Like the first boyfriend I was talking about, because eventually we moved in together. We moved in together like 7 months into a relationship, and then
right.
like he cut me off from sex completely.
Oh,
Later, I found out that they were transitioning in my
right.
apartment and didn't tell me. So like they were hiding something, but like
Yeah.
it's bad in a relationship if you're physically in the same apartment as me and
Mm.
I'm having to tell you that I need you to leave because I want to have sex. Like,
Yeah.
that's not.
Oh, I
And
totally understand that.
and then like the second relationship I tried to do with, it only lasted a month, but it was like, it's like we had established, as you said, established that rule of not doing stuff not together.
Yeah, yeah,
I was at work one day, and he had two guys come suck him off while I was at work, and then he got
yeah.
mad when he went to work, and I had somebody come in and fuck me. So it was like,
That's yeah. I could not deal with that double standard, and I know for
yeah,
some people it will work. So that's why I don't talk about it in a way that I'm like, oh God, no, could never. I just
yeah,
mean not if that particular way isn't right for me. Yeah, it could be one day, but yeah, it's always been a kind of I trust that person so much that let's do something together as a couple still.
yeah.
And I mean, I've seen guys talk about it online as well who are very happy in these kind of relationships, and you see the comments, and it's like, oh my God, if you're gonna be like that, then just leave. Clearly, you don't love each other. And I'm like, actually, it can be
That's
the complete opposite reason. It can be because you love each other that much that you trust each other that much to do something like that. But
and,
yeah,
and it's also the fact of like, at least for me, I am one of those people who, like, overall, I don't catch feelings unless we're kissing at some point.
right,
So like, I can have sex with you and like not feel anything, but it's like
yeah.
the minute we start like making out, that's where like feelings start to get in. So it's like,
Mm. I used to catch feelings so quick. Not anymore, but like literally, boom. That person looks at me, we're destined for each other. That's how it used to be so quick. That was the early days, so that was like 18 upwards.
the
So
only
what?
the only time I've had a crush like that recently was, I'm not gonna say like who it is because it's somebody who's been on my podcast before, but it's like, it was just like me talking to them, and they just seems like such a great person. Like when they were
Mm,
talking about like being in a relationship, I'm like, this is the kind of person you should be in a relationship with. Like somebody
yeah,
who's like supportive, someone who's
yeah.
like not going to judge you, somebody who's like just open.
And
And
that realistic as well. That kind of.
yeah, and also
I-
I don't mind. Well, okay, I don't mind. I am a person like, I don't mind being in a relationship with a drag queen as long as what we do is not the same thing.
Oh right, okay. Oh
So like if they're a lip syncer, like
yeah.
that's not my thing. So like you can go
Wow.
off and do that.
What do you think? Why do you think that is? Because that's quite specific as well. That isn't it? Like
What, to like not do the same thing?
yeah.
Because it's a little bit of jealousy. Because like
Ah.
if I were to be with someone who's a musician who's like a drag queen, and they were like getting more gigs than I did, it would be like,
Oh, I see.
it'd be like I would want to be supportive, but I know at some point like it'd turn into a like,
You'd be evaluating their work a lot, wouldn't you? And be
right,
like,
very
why?
much.
Yeah, and especially if let's say if it was that way, say if they were at a bit that's at a more progressed level than you was at, you'd kind of be like
Yeah.
they're at that level, and I'm at yeah, I do understand it. But yeah, so you'd rather go for like the kind of the comedy queens and the like not pageant queen.
Um,
But
comedy. Well, I don't know because I've always felt like that's something I've wanted to do. I just haven't
yeah,
done it. Like,
I can definitely see it with you, 100%.
yeah, it's like
Wow.
it's like, but I don't know. I feel like that would be something I'd more explore in the city because it's like I can't say like my favorite joke about me like fucking black guys is like, it's a joke. It's like a self joke of myself where it's like I fucked so many black guys that my ass is a stop on the Underground Railroad. So it's like one of those things where it's like
It's bloody brilliant.
it's but it's like It's like you can't say that in front of a straight crowd of people. Like,
No, they do not
yeah,
get our humor in the slightest.
yeah, and it's like,
No, definitely not. You know the Vivian from season
yeah,
one of UK. So
yes,
I told you last time, didn't I? She was in the place where I'm going to now, Gran Canaria. She worked in one of the bars there. Can't remember what the bar was called. I think Sparkles. That's where she was doing all of her gigs in Sparkles.
yeah,
And it was that, like you said, she had that type of humor as well. It was so good, but it's as much as it's a gay resort to go to, it's also a very family resort. So we'd all be sat in there getting absolutely pissed as farts, like drunk, and the gays would obviously be loving it because she'd be saying some stuff that was
yeah.
so cutting and like touching the line sometimes that you'd be like, I don't think I should actually be laughing at that. But the straight audience would be like, oh my god, these people are disgusting, just would not get it in the slightest. And I was like, I love this. This is my kind of humor.
And it's also like, yeah, it's like that sick, twisted, like inappropriate, like I am also someone who like, so my mom's not alive, so it's like I make jokes about my mom, like
Yeah,
knowing that she can't get offended. She's not here, so it's like,
I do the exact same. But
yeah,
I do the exact same about people that have passed in my family and everything. And
yeah,
it's a really, what's the word for it? For again, from where I work and everything, it's a really like valid response to grief in that way. Is
right,
that we even got taught it in first aid training as well, of all places. We get trained it in therapy as well, but yeah, but it's that big there. It's even in first aid now for some reason. But yeah, they were saying like how people have actually, you can get looked a bit. People look at you in a certain way, don't they, when you do jokes like that about past relatives or dark humor. But
yeah,
it's a very valid. That's what my humor is. I
yeah,
will I won't respond to something by getting upset and down. You'll have that initial period, but like
yeah,
when my grandma passed away, now all my jokes are about her. When we're
yeah,
talking about her, it's always in a jokey sense, and people are like, you can't say that. I'm like, I absolutely can. She was my grandmother, and she knew how much
exactly,
I loved her. Like, so yeah, I totally understand.
yeah. So okay, next question:
Uh-oh.
what is your relationship to drugs and alcohol?
Alcohol, very friendly. Love it. I mean, I've just drank a glass of whiskey
Yeah,
while I was chatting to you.
yeah,
Love it. Only because of the scene where I used to work, and the gay
yeah.
scene in general is very just filled with alcohol, especially drugs in the UK. Like, my
That
God, you
that
cannot go to. It's just every 2 minutes when you're in a
that
bar.
that's not a UK specific thing. That's a
Oh
US
no,
thing
yeah,
too. Yeah,
definitely. But it's become more prevalent, if that's the word, over the past few years. It's always been there. We've had a big drug scene in the past, in like the 90s and everything. But I'm
yeah,
saying, like, in like the gay bars and everything. Again, I know it's always going to have been there, but I've seen it more recently. Like, even from people that I wouldn't expect to take anything, would be like, "Have you got some of this? Should we go and get a bag of this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, wow! It's massive. It's massive now." And yeah, of course I've done stuff in the past and everything, but yeah, I don't rely on it. I can go on a night out and happily go without it.
see, I'm
Yeah.
like, and I've said this to multiple people. I love asking this question just to see where
Mm.
people are. Like, that's where you find out like when people are sober and stuff. But like alcohol, I'm like a social drinker,
Yeah.
and drugs, I've never abused anything that's like illegal or prescription wise, but I did have like a 4 month period of time before like I would go to the doctor for my feet where like I was abusing ibuprofen every day. Like
Yeah.
I was taking like 18 to 24 a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, I get scared about taking 4 a day because I feel like I'm going to OD with it. It's like, wow.
It's a lot. As I say, like
Yeah.
as I tell people, I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't do damage. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it can really happen. It happened to my boss. He was taking, I think it's called tramadol, which is just a strong pain reliever. Absolutely obliterated his livers. I think it was his livers or his
Yeah.
kidney, whichever it was, completely ruined it. But yeah, no, around ours is more the illegal side of things. You see it, you see it everywhere in every bar, don't you? So,
Well, okay. I will say this. I don't know this about the UK. What's illegal in the UK?
ooh, anything that isn't cigs, I suppose. Cigs and alcohol.
Really?
Do you
So
mean like?
you don't even have like legal weed there?
Oh no, no, no. In fact, that was in the news a lot because obviously we have people that when people suffer with cancer,
Right.
they've seen research that with like CBD oil and all that kind of stuff that has really helped them, and in some cases has like really reduced the tumors and stuff. But there's still you see it every now and again. It pops into the news where it's like, why not just make this stuff legal? You'll see crime maybe drop and blah 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 blah. But yeah, no, definitely not
Because
legal.
that was the thing. Like, I was thinking that is still a fight in the United States, and it's almost to me, it's like I'm someone who's like, why? Just legalize all of it, and
Mm,
if people want to die, like OD and
yeah.
stuff, and they want to die, just let them do it. Like, it's
Don't you
their
have like
life.
yeah? Don't you have like medical grade shops as well? Or am I just thinking of that?
Uh, yes, it depends on where you are. Like,
Right,
it depends on what state you're in. I'm lucky that like if I wanted a medical card, that it's legal in my state medically, but like
right.
it's not everywhere.
I only kind of know that just because I became obsessed. Not obsessed. That's really the wrong word. I became fascinated at one point with that Jeffree Star, and noticed that a lot of his
Yeah,
money that he's got is through putting it into that kind of industry. And I was like, oh wow,
yeah.
I didn't even know that that was a thing.
Well, he runs his business out of California, where it very much is legal.
Oh right, okay,
In terms of like medicinally, recreationally, it just is.
yeah. I
And
can't. Yeah. Cannabis, weed, whatever, blah blah. I can't stand that. I don't like it in the slightest. I didn't once in my life, and I don't think I'll ever do it again.
see, like, I am one of those people where I said I've been around it. Like,
Mm.
I've hooked up. I'm a gay guy. I've hooked up with gay people. Like, I've had people do drugs in my apartment. Like, I don't fucking
Yeah.
care. It's just like,
Oh god, yeah. I remember. It will be an illegal one, but they call it a G over it. It's basically date grape kind of thing. Comes in a liquid form. I remember actually one of the first people that I went on a date with. I think he was in Gran Canaria. He got us
yeah.
one of the slush. Do you know slush puppies? The ice cold. It's like basically crushed ice with flavoring on.
Oh, like snow cones is what we call them over here.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Our version is like slush puppies.
Yeah.
He had one of them because baking heat over there, and he spiked his own drink with that with G, and I had an amazing time. Absolutely, never do it again because I was passed out. I had to be hospitalised. But yeah, that's these are kind of the
So wait. I'm just I'm wrapping my mind around that. So he date rape drugged himself?
yeah. So he knew I didn't because I was naive and I was
Oh.
coming in, and it
Oh,
wasn't.
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't fully established in the gay scene yet. I'd only just started working in the bars, so I didn't really have that many gay friends and all that.
Yeah.
So no one showed me the ropes and stuff, blah blah. I'm not saying drugs is a gay thing, but like I wasn't fully aware, and this group that we was with all knew what was in the drink, and they must
Right.
have told me. And I was like, yeah, I know that very much, blah blah. And you're literally only supposed to take sips of it.
Yeah.
Well, there's me. I was boiling, straight knocked it back. I was like, I'll just get you another one. Don't worry, I'm too hot. Just drank the whole thing. And I think I had a good few minutes of dancing on the dance floor and having an amazing time. And then waking up in hospital with them turning around and saying, basically, you don't drink for the rest of your holiday. It was on like day 2. I was like, oh, thank you, but that's not going to happen. I'm drinking. So, left the hospital and went straight to the bars. Very dangerous.
So okay. Well, and I don't know why my mind's going to this. Maybe
No, no.
because I've seen so much. Did anything happen to you?
By the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, just in no, no, nothing. The amount of places that we go, I never actually need anything to get me into one of them states. Just like we find the nearest sauna and stuff anyway.
Yeah,
And
but it's like, yeah, but even
yeah,
so, it's like
it nearly
with
happened
you.
once. It's nearly happened before, but that's not through. It's just because I got so drunk that I was passed out on the bed, and thankfully I had my friend with me at the time. We went into a dark room, and I was getting myself all ready on the bed and all that kind of stuff. Friend was going to use the bed next to me, and people was obviously coming in, and my friend had to go off and go and get a drink quickly. And while they had gone, I had passed out asleep, and I just remember being woken up to my friend pulling someone off of me. They hadn't done anything, but they were going to. I was like, oh my god, I was asleep. That's fucking weird. But yeah, so I don't get in them kind of drunk states anymore, because obviously
Yeah.
I'm really bad. Was.
That is something where like I've only been drunk once in my life. Like
Really?
yeah, and it was like it was one of those nights where like I almost got a DUI, so it's like it kind of like taught me my lesson. It was a night, okay, cuz as a performer, there's some nights I would never get drinks, but this is a night where people were just like, "Oh, I want to buy you a shot. I want to do this." And all of a
Yeah,
sudden it's like
we do that a lot.
it got caught up with me and I'm like, and I thought it was just like normal time. I thought I was just tired. Like I didn't feel like any sort of way. I just thought I was
Yeah.
tired. Like I'd been up at that point I think like 16 hours, so it was like I just thought I was tired, but turns
Ooh.
out I wasn't.
Oh, it's like it's. You ask any British person, and any that would watch this will be like straight away. There's no such thing as a social drink here. We say that there's going to be a social drink. We're like, okay, just going to go out and have like just a few with a friend, and then we're going to come back. No, you. No matter what you do, you are coming back home either being carried or something. It just doesn't. It doesn't. If you find me a person in the UK that is able to go out and just have two drinks and then go home, I will love to meet them. But everyone else, when anyone in Britain, when we go out to blackout,
Well,
and that
okay.
done.
Well, that would be okay. This leads me to another question. So, are drinks like cheap in the UK?
Depends where you go. Really
Be-
does. There used to be
because
places where it was.
be-
Obviously prices have gone now.
because that's the thing. Like, there are places in the United States where it's like I've been in bars where like I've spent maybe $8 for two drinks, and it's like,
Oh my god, I wish. I wish.
but
Because
there are also
$8 here
places,
would be like £7 or something.
yeah,
I'd love that.
but
No.
there are places where like out in Los Angeles where it's like $15 a drink, and it's like, well, I'm not
Oh
getting
yeah.
drunk. I'm not
I
getting
think we're
drunk.
like a happy medium between that.
Yeah, it's like I'm not getting drunk if I go out in LA. Like I don't have money to spend like on like
Mm.
four drinks, five drinks. No, like
If you go out to the gay scene in Manchester, obviously I can't speak for everywhere in the country because I bet London is extortionate. But if you go to like the gay scene in Manchester, you could be blacked out, drunk on like anywhere up to £100, and that is reason. These places, there is bars that are really like reasonably cheap. However,
yeah.
if you go to the gay village, we call it in Manchester. If you go to the gay village, sorry, sorry, what went down the wrong hole? If you go to the gay village, it's cheap, but the drink quality is shit. It is awful. Whereas if you go to these other places like Deansgate and stuff, the drink quality is beautiful, but you are paying like what would be about $15. It's just like no, I like drink, not that much.
Well, I mean, my thing is it also depends on like the bar because there have been times where like speaking of that place in Orlando that I talk about that I used to perform at, there was a time where I knew the bartender. The bartender charged me one price, and he charged my boyfriend and my best friend a different price.
Oh my god.
So like,
I don't think we do that. I don't think we do that over here. And the worst one that I've had
well,
is we went into
I think it's
a
because they knew me. Like that was the reason
ah,
why they like.
it's all fixed here. It's all fixed prices. Unless you're working in the bar around like Pride time. So in Manchester, there's a Pride like every July, I think it is. And I used to work on the Pride days, and we literally just got the drinks for free throughout the whole thing. Whereas everyone else was paying like in dollars, like probably $7 per drink. So that's the only
Yeah,
kind of. Other than that, no, we're really tight on our money.
well, that's the thing. That's why when you say like you go to the bar and get like blackout drunk, it's like, but if you don't want to spend well, okay. This is okay. Maybe I can ask it this way: is it like a thing to like kind of like drink before, like drink at home before, and then like go
Oh
out
yeah,
and
yeah, we can be really good
okay,
pre-drinkers.
yeah, that's
We'll normally do a lot of pre-drinking, but I think it's that. I will say majority, even if people disagree with me. I think the vast majority of British people will have the drinks and then they'll just release the true selves after a few drinks and like, oh fuck this, I'm staying out, and then that's it. Then you can go out with as much good intentions as you want. But yeah, once them first few drinks hit you, you're like, I'm here for good. I'm doing this, and then that is your night. Then you're out all night until early hours of the morning most of the time, if I could ever last that long. Or it just depends where I end up.
see, I've had like a few times where I've been out of the bar late. I'm someone who like goes to the bar like a little bit like it's nighttime, it's like dark out, but it's like
Mm.
early because especially like when I was performing, I used to have to like go home at 12:30 because I had to wake up at 4 to be to work at 6 the next
Oh
morning. So
god.
I was like,
Oh, I couldn't do that. That sounds awful. I think the earliest I will go out to start my night out is about 9 p.m. Earliest. I'll go out, start drinking at that time, rock back at home either anywhere from 5 till 10 o'clock in the morning.
well, I used to also like when I say I used to go out early is because at one point I was performing at 2 bars in the same night. So I do like
Mm.
one set one place, then I had to go to the other place and like perform
Yeah.
and like
No, that just sounds like too much stress for me. I couldn't do that. Nothing's keeping me up past like 11 o'clock if it's not alcohol. Work, done. Can't be bothered. I was supposed to be out tonight as well. Oh my god, it's gone past the time.
yeah. Oh crap, my bad. I wasn't paying
No,
attention.
it's all right. I'll spare more time. I've got
Yeah,
nothing ready yet anyway, and that's why taxis were invented. So
right.
I don't mind.
So I mean, you're good. Oh, I've got like 3 more questions. So you mentioned this before, and I'm just gonna ask this question: are gay clubs as like I'm gonna put it this way, like you don't have to be like heavily dressed in the UK as you do in the US. Like,
Oh, do you have to be heavily dressed in the US?
no. What I'm
Oh,
saying is like I was asking if that was like that in the UK because you were mentioning something
no,
to me
no,
before.
yeah, not the gay bars. I sounds weird. I would really watch what I wear in a straight bar, because
Understandable,
I like to wear quite. I don't know how you'd say my style because it changes all the time. But like basically, last time I went out, I had these really long flare trousers on that came up to near my belly button, and they're like this cream color, and then I had this like emerald green shiny shirt with the buttons open right to the bottom, and it looked really nice. But if I would never have walked into a straight bar wearing that, walked
but
into a gay bar, they would have been like, yes. But yeah, no. But
what I'm
then
saying,
there is bars where you can go in literally Cruise 101 at night, you can go downstairs, you can literally just wear your jockstrap and trainers.
Yeah, that's how like
Oh,
you could walk into, well, I'd say depending on the city, you could walk into bars like that in the United States. Like there are
yeah.
people who literally just like show up in a thong and like
Yeah.
just go in.
I'd love that. You also have the bars as well where they go and strip and pole dance and everything in the bars, don't you, as well? But
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know any place in the UK that actually has a bar dedicated to that. We have bars with poles in it, but never any like go-go dancers or anything like that on. And I'm like, wow, we're really missing out there. I don't know if it's a law thing or whatever, but I'd love that. I would want to do that as a job.
Yeah. See,
But
that's why you need to move to the US. There are places you
yeah,
could work like
I'm definitely gonna do it. I got to. It just seems more. The nightlife seems more fun anyway there. So
yeah, I
we'll have
mean
to go on
like,
there.
and the great thing is depending on where you move, like there's so many cultures as well. Like
Yeah, I think in an ideal world it would be the big city, but I know for a fact that is going. The prices in New York are just going to be
right. That's
out of this world.
I know. Believe me.
Yeah,
I would love to move to New York as well. Don't
but
have the money.
realistically, I'd probably go to like the LA kind of side of thing, or like San Francisco or something.
Well,
They're the same place. Before I sound dumb.
well, no.
Don't know how to-
LA is kind of expensive too. Like, well,
Oh,
actually, it depends on where you live.
yeah.
Like, that's also like there are affordable places in New York City. They're just it's not
Mhm.
Manhattan. Like, it's more like Brooklyn or like the Bronx, where like
Yeah.
you'd pay less money, and like I wouldn't mind living in those places, but some people
Yeah,
would.
it's like that here as well, and it's crazy. Like where I grew up, it's quite cheap. However, at the same time, it's not a desirable place to properly live. I loved it because I was from there, and to
Yeah.
me, it's one of the most beautiful places ever going. But people on the outside look at it and be like, "Oh no, yeah, it's crazy." Yeah,
Well,
I'd
see,
definitely move to America one day.
yeah, I am someone like when I've thought about like moving to the UK, because obviously I have. I feel like a
Mm.
lot of Americans have. I said I would love to move to London, but from what you're saying, like London's like super expensive. Like,
Last time I went, yeah, it was crazy. I think the thing is as well is that you'll have a massive culture shock, and I could be wrong, but like from what I see online of the Americans' perspective of Britain, it's very nice and polite and like all old agey kind of thing. Everyone says hello to each other in the street, blah blah. We're all tea and drinkers and crumpet eaters and stuff, and it's just very
but
nice and chilled. And you said it in the last one, didn't you?
yeah,
It's the same everywhere. We have them kind of perspectives, but yeah, I think it would be a massive culture shock for an American person to come to Britain because, like, oh no, this is not what we expected at all.
but it's also like you shouldn't expect that of anywhere. It's like
Yeah,
if I move to like Tokyo, I shouldn't expect that like everyone's gonna be like the stereotypical Asian that we think
yeah,
of in America.
absolutely.
Like you just
Yeah,
should be open.
I think it is because of that culture with Britain. I think it is because I'll presume no matter where you are in the world, you're always gonna think of those core stereotypical things of Britain, where it is like the royal family and blah 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 blah, and
Well,
yeah,
that's because most Americans watch like nice, polite UK TV.
yeah.
Like one of my favorite shows of all time is Ab Fab. So like
Oh my god, yeah, I love that show.
yeah, yeah, it's like
Absolutely.
that shows like how well I know it's a bit ridiculous, but that shows a little bit of how like real life is in the UK.
Oh, there's loads of well, like you'll know because it's going to be the same in America. There's loads of different types of ways people living in there. It's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's not all oldie agey. Everyone's nice kind of thing. Some people could be quite bitter and evil, but it's still such a lovely place to leave. That's one thing that would stall me from going anywhere is just how much I love the UK.
Yeah.
If I didn't have any love for it, I'd be out by now, 100% out.
But I have to say, like, for America, I have to think of the positive traits of America because all the ones I'm going through are like all the negative traits of America. Let me think of a positive one. Hold on. We film most of the movies. There we go. There's a
Yeah,
positive trait. We
there
film
you
most
go.
of the movies.
I love it, but my idea of America is amazing. It just, to me, it's everyone's just more welcoming and relaxed. And my naive view in my head kind of thing is like, I love it, but I've only ever watched shows in the UK. We only get like all the shows like The Big Bang Theory and Bleeding, all those kind of shows, the comedies and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like, I love the thought of the thought of America, but yeah, it'll be the same as what I just said about Britain. I know I'll get a big culture shock when I get there.
Well, I will say this, like, there are certain areas where, like, I will use, like, the example of New York. Like, yes, there are nice people in New York, but stereotypically of New York City, it's very much people are rude.
Right.
If you look at a person the wrong way, like, get the fuck out my way, like, that kind of,
Yeah.
like... But it's
I'll
like...
be fine there then, because I only look at the floor while I'm walking. I never
Yeah.
look directly at anyone.
But it is, like, to the point of, like, Los Angeles. It's like, before I interviewed people from LA, I had a view of how people from LA were.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed like 3 people now. I'm supposed to be doing a 4th Tuesday, fingers crossed. But it's like, oh, so there are nice people in LA.
Well,
Like,
yeah, that sounds so obvious, but I
yeah,
totally understand what you mean. I really do.
because most of the time you think of like egotistical, rude assholes who, like, if you don't have a following online, you just are like shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially like gay people, like, there's some judgmental, and it's like,
I'd love to even just visit. If you're ever going on like a little vacation over to them, just tell me at some point, because I'm gonna need like a person to be with while I'm over there. So I'll just come over. I've never been to America in my life.
Well, where would you want to go in America? Like Los Angeles? Like,
oh yeah, I try anywhere, obviously, as long as it's gay friendly. But yeah,
because my thing is, like, I don't know when I want to go to LA this year. Like, I have no sort of plan, but like, I know I want to, because it's like, especially my thing is, like, now that I know people, I'd be more open to going to Los Angeles. I'd be more open to going to New York because I know people in New York as well. But it's like,
that's what it's been like with my Instagram as well. And like I said, because the following is mainly American. When obviously it will always pop up in a conversation over the messenger where we're like, where are you from? We're like, well, UK. Oh, damn it, I'm from New York. Oh, damn it, I'm from blah, blah, blah. But it's like, that in itself, though, is a ton of people that I'm now getting to know that's in the States, that if one day I was ever there and in that certain place, I can be easily like, I'm in Chicago or whatever. Let's go out, show me all the bars, show me everything else.
I mean, in terms of like Florida, where I'm at now, I know places like near me, but I've never like been out.
Right.
Because like I'm like an hour or like 2 hours away from Miami. Like, I know places in Miami. I've been there like once in like the gay scene, but like, it's not a place I would go because it's like, it's not like a bad thing. It's just like, I'd have to like plan a time and like stay down there, because like the idea of like driving back and forth that same day is just...
That's like, because you've seen how small our island is. That's like what it's like with London. It's like a 3-hour train journey from where I am. So you'd literally be packing an overnight bag and stuff. So if you wanted to go out and have a few nights out there and stuff, you'd make a little short vacation of it.
And that's the other thing about the UK. Y'all have trains. Like
Yeah, yeah. I
that
saw a
is
TikTok about that the other day. I couldn't. You don't have trains. Well, have minimal trains.
well, it's okay. So basically what has happened in America is like so theoretically because they have the technology in Japan, there are people in the United States that would love to have like a bullet train in
Right.
but basically and you know this, it's not as bad in the UK, but it's definitely bad in America. Like corrupt politicians, like they're
Mm.
bought off by the airline industry, so that they kind of like kill anything that they have for like initiatives to like build a train.
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't the one I saw. I just saw one the other day. That was like it was some woman. I'll tell you what it was. It was like a video in retaliation. It was like this American guy that was saying, "Oh, at least I'm not British," and then showing stuff about Britain that he absolutely hated. And this woman just like retaliated to him, saying, like with the trains and oh, God, sorry, this sounds like such a boring topic that I've brought up, but it's like she's saying like our trains, we can get a train from here to France and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I want to go there so bad. I really do. I'll even come to Florida. We should have a night out in Florida at some point.
I mean, yeah, I'd totally be down for that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is, I don't go out much because it's weird. Like, when you live in a city and like you go out a lot, it's like you get used to like being by yourself. Like, you can go
Mm.
by yourself and like go out, but like the idea of going to another city and like visiting and going out by myself seems a little bit daunting.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I'd still do it, but I'd need a lot of pre-drinks before going out because I'd seize up. I wouldn't know how to talk to anyone.
Well, actually, like if you were to come to Florida, I don't know if they have these in LA, but I know in Florida, I know for a fact there's one that there is a gay male strip club. Actually, there are two.
I'm there. I'll
Yeah.
go. I'll even get on the stage. I don't mind. Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I know a few like entertainers down there. Actually, I should say I know of.
Yeah.
I know one burlesque dancer who like works down there, but that's because I've interviewed him before. So like,
Right. I'd love to. I'll get a flight over soon. I'm sick of going to the same place on holiday anyway. I'd love to come and try out America at one point.
yeah,
But I would definitely go to one of them clubs. I'd probably get kicked out, just so you know, though, because I will get that drunk that I'll try and find my way on the stage. It's happened before over here.
really?
Yeah, we have like in Manchester the Asian district's kind of bit of it, and it's so beautiful. It's all decorated, so you'll just be on the normal shopping streets, and you'll go in and then it's Chinatown. It's beautiful, and there
Yeah.
was a strip club there called Long Legs. I went down with a friend because she's lesbian, and she was like, "I just want to try it out," and I'm there, obviously being like, "Ugh," at the thought of it. Went down, and before you knew it, I was up on this. It was a straight strip club, and before you knew it, I was on top of the table, and then being carried out by the bouncer. I was like, "Oh damn it!" I was really feeling myself on that table as well. It was brilliant. I don't think people appreciated my body at that point, though.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
maybe
it
some
was
like
years ago.
closet cases probably appreciated your
Yeah.
body. Like,
Yeah, perhaps it had something to do with the fact that I wasn't a woman. Come to think of it.
well, no. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about like guys who are in the closet who like are secretly like gay or bi. Probably appreciated you very much.
I've probably messed around with probably more closeted straight guys than I have actually done gay guys through my time. Just because there's so many in the UK. You pick a certain bar to go
Really?
to. Yeah, it's like if you actually look gay, if someone can point you out as gay straight away and you go to a certain bar, like if I went to this bar called Weatherspoons over here, it's scattered around everywhere around the UK. You'd have. There's always like a straight guy that's going to come over and be like, oh, start talking to you about being gay. He's like, oh, could never do it myself. And then slowly but surely they become a little bit more flirty as the night goes on, to the point where they're just like grabbing your ass and stuff. You're like, oh, okay. Ask me. It's that way.
But that's so well, because I know the like British stereotype is that most British guys dress gay, so it's like, is it harder to tell who's gay in the UK?
I don't know actually. We've all got that kind of like built-in gaydar, haven't we? I can normally spot them straight away. I don't think it's that hard because this might sound really bad to all the straight people, all the straight guys anyway. But the gays normally have a kind of fashion trend, and then slowly but surely, like we'll get told by straight people, like straight guys, not all of them, obviously a select few, will turn around and be like, oh, that just looks too stupid and blah blah blah. And then slowly but surely they'll start taking that style as we're moving on to something else. So with ours, it was
Yeah.
like trousers that look like they've been spray painted onto your legs. They're that tight. And they're all like, oh my God, that's so gay, blah, blah, blah. And slowly but surely, you then start seeing groups of straight guys going out with tartan trousers on that look like they've been painted onto the legs. And we're like, oh, a few months ago, you was turning around to us and saying that was gay. Now you
Well,
can
wait.
see everything.
Seriously, straight guys are into that? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
that to me seems like, I don't know. I would think that women would think they were gay if they were wearing something like that. That's
Oh no. The women normally, you'd find more women in the gay bars, straight women, than
well,
anywhere
yeah,
else.
that's the same in the US. That's why,
Yeah.
like,
I think we're lucky as well though, is that we do also on like the nightlife kind of scene. We have a lot of forward thinking straight guys. It doesn't happen that much that we get such an ignorant straight guy in our space kind of thing. And if we do, we do handle it. But yeah, I think we're very lucky in the UK that we've got quite straight guys over here at the moment kind of just tend to be like, yeah, you're gay, and what? And just go about their own business. And I
yeah,
love it. I love it when it's like that.
yeah, like I've spoken with straight guys before. Although I will say, one thing that I do have to correct a lot is when a straight guy is talking to me about someone who's trans. I had to do it with somebody I was like in training class with like a couple days ago. I'm not gonna repeat what he said, but I literally looked at him. I'm like, you do realize what you just said was transphobic, right?
Yeah.
Like
This is the part of our work as well, though. Sorry, this is the part of our work though as well. Is like obviously, for a lack of a better term, dealing with people like this, because obviously, like I said before, they'll come from these backgrounds where what they're saying they think is completely acceptable, and it's mind games in the way of deciphering which ones are saying it innocently. They're still being either racist or like transphobic, homophobic, blah blah. List goes on.
yeah,
It's kind of deciphering which ones are saying it without thinking of the implications, without thinking that there's gonna be any implications, and which ones are saying that to genuinely be hurtful to that other person, kind of thing. And it's shocking how much nearly all the service users that we get that come in, they have very stereotypical views, like even down to race and stuff. They'll say certain phrases, some innocent phrases like, which one of you is the, not race, about being gay. Some innocent ones like, do you know when they say who's the man and who's the woman, even though you're two men in a relationship? And I can see it with them. I can see what they're asking. And what they're asking is fine. It's the wording that they're using.
yes,
And
yes,
it's pointing that out to them, isn't it? And then slowly but surely, when they don't feel like they're being attacked, because they're not being attacked by us, and you get them into that level space where you can talk about these subjects, after that, they never use that terminology again. In fact, they find it just as offensive as we do.
right. I've had a situation like that before.
Mm,
It was from like a boss, someone who was my boss, and like
mm.
I kind of accepted it because he was like older.
Yeah.
But it's like in terms of, I will say this right now. There's certain shit that I just won't accept from like
Yeah.
younger people. Like I'm like, you have no excuse. Like you were raised through all this stuff. Like
Mm.
if you're somebody who's under the age of like 40,
Yeah.
you should not be using the T word to describe a woman. Like
Yeah.
it's just this is like common sense shit. Like
Yeah. And it's such a minefield, isn't it, as well? Because there is common sense stuff. There is stuff that, and this what again what we battle in with work is there is past life experiences that might make someone talk to you in a certain way, be like say certain things, and it's pointing that out, but it's also being realistic at the same time and going, oh, hang on, though, you are at a certain age now where you could have decided to learn on that subject and know that that isn't a right thing to say. It's not
yeah,
just about being naive at times. It's also like, I know that there is things that I shouldn't say as a human being to other human beings. And I know these topics that I don't fully understand yet, so I won't comment on them. Like what's happening in the trans community at the minute and the amount of crap that's going on like TikTok of they shouldn't be allowed
right.
in women's spaces and stuff like that. I'm like, you are women. Also at the same time, I don't know. I'm not as educated as I personally want to be. So I never comment on it then until
Yeah,
I have that full understanding of it. And it's teaching people that as well is like, if you don't know the full ins and outs, keep your fucking mouth shut. Just
yeah.
end
But
of.
but there are certain things where like at my old job, I had someone who like was like around me, and then like all of a sudden they started saying the N word, and like saying things about black people, and I literally
Mm.
looked at him and I'm like, get the fuck away from me! Like
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
You're in your early 20s. You should not be talking like
yeah.
that.
There's no
Like
excuse for that
yeah,
kind of hatred going on. There isn't at all. And people, they don't, but people surely should know not to be using that particular phrase at this point in the world at
yeah.
this point in time. But no, obviously,
It's like if you're in your 20s and you're going up to somebody and you're calling them a faggot, like you shouldn't.
mm,
It's like it's like if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I should not have to be telling you
yeah,
why this you shouldn't be saying this.
absolutely. That's because the education at the same time is all around us. Like we
Yeah.
live on social media these days. There's so many people that, and this is why I said I was scared of actually going onto it talking. I know I can just do them videos where I'm showing off my bulge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at one point, I'm gonna engage with people, and we're gonna get into conversations like this. And that's why I've been so scared, is because also you're even though me and you will come from the same community,
Yeah.
our views are still going to be different in ways, and I don't want to bring my opinion out and people go, "Oh my god, that's disgusting. You shouldn't be thinking that way." And I'm like, an individual kind of thing, and that's why if, like you said, if I spot bullshit, like if I spot people using phrases like what that person used at that
Yeah.
age, I will pull that up. Also,
Yeah.
at the same time, I will know that I am not a black person.
Yeah.
So I will be there to hand, but I will not speak on behalf of like cultural situations like that because I'm not in the know and I don't want to
Yeah.
then put my foot in it and be like, start spewing shit, which I think is helping that culture, and then it turns out just for me to be reeling off a load of shite. So I'm there for support, but I will never stick my mouth where it's not needed.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I will say you say that this is a time of education, although this is the one thing I got to say about Florida. They're like it's something that probably hasn't even gone to the UK. It's the thing that like there are states in the US where they're trying to where they're banning books.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
been seeing. I can't really remember what the name of it was, but I'm seeing that a lot more as well on
yeah,
social media stuff of people saying they're bringing back in a certain law in a certain part of America that
yeah.
was abolished years ago because it was because it was such a disgusting law. But they're bringing that law back in. I'm like, geez, it sounds like, in the deepest of respects, it sounds like taking stepwards back instead of actually
There are
progressing.
people who are trying to do that. That's
Mm,
why like in some ways you have like Florida overall is like not the greatest state, but you have like as I was talking about Miami, you have Miami where like it's a little bit more like less conservative, so it's like you
right.
don't have as much of that.
Yeah.
But there are places absolutely like in like one of the states in the South, which technically Florida's part of the South, but nobody has an accent here, so it's like
All right.
especially the area I'm in, it's basically like all a bunch of like older people who are like either from New York or like older Jewish people like from New
Yeah.
York that moved down here. So it's like a little bit more like ethnically diverse.
Yeah.
But there is a state in Florida where they're banning drag queens. Like
Yeah.
and it's all it's crazy. It's like
It is ridiculous. Because even
and
that
I
video that was circulating of the drag queens, was it dancing in front of children or something? And they was doing
yeah.
a massive, and I'm like, it was a certain situation, but the thing is the way that things are at the moment,
Yeah.
the kind of laws that should be, and I might be speaking out of context and I might be getting it completely wrong, but the more pressing laws that should be being focused on, they're
They're not.
able, yeah, and they're able to turn around and go, oh, but trans, and oh, but like black rights and everything instead, and just completely diverge everyone away from like gun violence and stuff like that, and be like, yeah, but focus on this person who has transitioned. And people
And
are gullible enough to be like, oh, yeah, this is the problem. It's like, no, it's like,
and and okay, this is the part where I have to speak as an American.
mm,
It's not all of us. Like
no, definitely not. Yeah,
it's definitely
absolutely.
like a minority and like
Yeah.
as I said on this podcast like a couple of days ago when I was interviewing somebody, like I am very much afraid that and I've talked to people and they say it's too early to tell. I'm afraid Donald Trump's gonna get reelected. Like
Mm,
and just put us whatever he didn't get done in his first 4 years, he's gonna try and
yeah.
get done in his next 4 years. And it's like
Yeah.
and it's because like again, trying not to get too political, but like
Yeah.
for liberals, they give us such shit choices in America that where it's like that's why in some ways like I don't know, is like having a third party system better? Like having a three-party system better?
I was going to say my understanding of politics in any kind of sense has been so limited, just because it's it feels so corrupt here as well. Like, my knowledge of it is completely, I'm elsewhere. Just because over here it's like, what's the saying for it? It's like better the devil you know, or whatever. No one is actually doing anything for our country over here. If anything, it's just getting worse. The amount of riots that we're having, or strikes even. It's just like,
That's so sad.
yeah, it's just it's getting worse and worse, and then covered up by something just the same as what's happening there.
Yeah.
They diverged the concentration of, well, the topic of what they're fucking doing wrong, and they'll be like, yeah, but look at this completely unrelated topic instead. And this is
But
why I have such a hard time keeping up with politics. I just don't understand a thing about it because of that.
I will say this, and like I think I have this right. At least you forced out Boris Johnson when he like
Mm.
was taking money. Like at least that happened. Like
But it's
where
still happening now, though.
yeah, I know it's still
Yeah.
happening, but it's like
Oh, but
but at least you force somebody out. In the United
yeah.
States, that would never happen. You have and he only took like $500,000. In the
Mm.
United States, you have people who take millions.
Yeah. Yeah. Over here at the moment, what I'm grasping the sense is that they are literally just putting money, even more money, into the pockets of people who are already doing so well off.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got literally strikes from health services, because they can't afford to get through, and they're still doing all the demanding hours under the sun. I'm like, I do not know how they're coping. Even in my company, we physically can't take strikes, but I know for a fact that if we was able to do it, we wouldn't be in our job at the minute. We'd be marched up and down the street.
You can't?
Oh, no, because I mean, technically you could. You can do it in any job, really, can't you? But the thing is, because we look after service users who really rely on us, like we're basically their parents in a sense. We could leave and go on strike over money and everything. However, if we did that, we would literally just be abusing the people that we have, because they're our sole responsible.
Oh, okay.
So
Because
yeah.
my first thought of it was like, at least what I know about the UK, unions are much stronger there than they are in the United States. Like,
Yeah.
unions are like, if you're lucky to get in a union job in the United States, you are very fortunate because there are so many jobs where, like, for example, like in Florida, like I work, like you have union protections. Like I could walk
Yeah.
into work one day and I could just get fired and they could give me no reason.
Oh
They
yeah,
could just
yeah. You don't. Yeah, it's really we've got people in our workplace that we want to get fired, and they're just like,
yeah,
we can't do it. Let's
yeah,
just not do
because
it.
it's union.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
I would like that so much more because it's like, especially at my last job, if I had had a union, they wouldn't have been able to take advantage of me in the way that they did.
Yeah.
Because there was a way, like, and bosses there would probably argue it right now. I got injured on the job, and they didn't, like, they basically, like, I had a boss where I was, like, limping out of work. They let me walk out without, like, writing a report or anything.
Jeez, that's
So,
crazy.
like, and that eventually led to, like, me having more and more problems with my feet. So then, like, eventually I had to
People
leave.
fired, eh? People in head office would be fired. The jobs would be gone for doing that to you.
Yeah, that's what
Wow.
I'm saying. That's why that is, like, the thing of if I ever were to, like, leave a job and, like, the only thing I would do is, like, go in to, like, become a union rep and, like, take all the actions that you
Yeah.
could.
I want to get into something completely different now. Something that doesn't involve me having a manager. I'm sick to death of having managers now.
Well, okay, I say that as, like, if I were just staying in the workforce, my ultimate
Yeah.
job would want to be doing this, like,
Yeah.
getting to
Absolutely.
interview people, because, like,
Get a full show up and going.
yeah, like,
I don't see that as being an impossible thing for you though, because when I look on, so since like we first met on Insta and everything,
yeah,
when I'm looking at the caliber of people that you're interviewing, they're all really big people in my eyes. Anyway, when I'm looking on the profiles, I'm like, oh my god, like why the hell are you
it,
interviewing me compared to these people that I've got?
well, it's
So
because, like, I'm interviewing whoever I want to interview, like, but there's a point to where, like, I'm still trying. Like, I am, like, the person where, like, until you tell me no, I'm not
mm,
gonna stop bugging you. So,
yeah,
like, either tell me no or just give in to me. Like,
yeah.
just give me a shot. Like,
And keep on with that, because clearly
yeah,
it's going amazing. Like I've even
thank you.
since done it, I've been watching loads of little bits now. Like I've watched I can't remember the full names off by now, but I've watched like the Prince one, I've watched Phoenix and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
going
yeah,
through them. I absolutely love it. And just the way that you connect with us as well
yeah.
when we're in it, it's because I'm normally a very, very, very nervous person. I won't go out and do something just on a whim. It has to be really planned beforehand, even like going
Yeah,
out somewhere with someone. But like, whenever this is obviously the second time now I've sat down with you,
yeah,
and I'm just like having a laugh. I mean, I should have been out 55 minutes ago. I'm
yeah.
still sat here. So I
I
love it.
mean, like, but I like people who like to talk. Like,
Mm,
you're talking about Phoenix and Prince Joshua. Like, with Phoenix, I literally like when I approached him the second time, I'm like, listen, I tell most people an hour. I'm like, I'm offering you 2 hours because I know
yeah.
you because I basically I like didn't say it like this. It's like I know you're not gonna be able to shut the fuck up. So like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm
It's
literally
brilliant
gonna
though.
like.
I keep getting worried that I'm like interrupting you all the time, but
No, no,
literally
no, 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 no,
in
no.
in
I
my job I'm talking for 15 hours before I go to bed, and it's just
yeah.
non-stop talking. So you'll get your
Well,
materials worth out of me.
well, this is fine. Like if I told you like I didn't want to like keep going, I'd stop the interview. But like
Yeah.
as I said, I still have what I s- I have two more questions now.
All right.
Who knows?
Well,
We'll keep going.
I was gonna say yeah, let's do it because I'm over an hour late now.
Okay, so
I'm not bothered, but
yeah, so okay, I'm gonna rephrase the way I asked this question. Did you have any gay role models growing up?
no, because we was just so kind of closed off from it in where I grew up. There was really no one gay. You had the odd few people on TV, but my family were very much like, bless them, because they knew that I wasn't, well, because they didn't know that I was gay at the time. There'd be this very stereotypical way of seeing like the likes of maybe Alan Carr on TV,
Yeah,
and they'd say the odd few derogatory words here and there, which probably made me stall coming out. I could have come out a lot sooner, but because I was around that, it took a little bit longer. But there was no one that I can think of that I actually saw on TV and was like, oh, wow, they're like me in any
yeah.
way. Just kind of went through the motion.
I mean, I get that. Obviously you were doing stuff younger, and you might have
Mm.
said this last time. I just can't remember. So, how old were you when you came out?
It was roughly about 16. I knew very early on. Knew when I was like 7.
Yeah,
Um, and then about 16, I just ended up getting really, really drunk one night and drunk calling my mum. But I had all
yeah,
of the passion by that point. Like
yeah,
no one could touch me. I just rang up. It was really embarrassing. I got on the phone. I was like, I'm drunk. I'm also no, I didn't say I'm drunk. I said I'm angry. I'm gay, and I'm with a guy with only one testicle, and you can't do nothing about it. She
I
went,
remember. I remember you
okay.
telling me that. I remember you telling me that. I just didn't remember if
Yeah,
I asked you how old you were. Yeah, I was
yeah.
18. I was 18, and I didn't even like. Well, okay. When I fully came out as gay, I was 19. I came out as bi when I was 18
Mm.
because of the
Yeah,
religious shit.
that's a very normal one as well, though, isn't it? Is the
Yeah,
kind of by transition before actually, like to kind of, if it makes sense, if I'm right in saying this, like soften the blow, almost.
it was. Well, for me, it wasn't that. It was just like it was the religious aspect of like I
Mm.
was like very involved in the church, and like even me coming out as bi was seen as like a bad thing.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, yeah. We
So
have a
like
lot of guys that would kind of say and buy. Not obviously not same as you. You'd kind of
yeah.
say and buy first, test the waters, and then when you see that people are okay and comfortable around them, that oh, actually I'm gay. It's like
No, that wasn't me. Like
yeah,
it was also like in some ways a self-relying like aspect where it's like I was saying I was bi and then all of a sudden it's like but you're only staring at guys' asses. So like maybe there's something you not like clicking all the way with.
yeah. Mm. Don't think I've ever. No, I've just known very, very
Yeah.
straight early on. I know how I knew. It was because I was. Did I tell you how I knew that I was gay?
You did not tell me that.
Well, I've always had. I always was having the feelings anyway. I tried having girlfriends, obviously in primary school and stuff. And obviously, it was never going to work anyway. It's primary school, and my auntie was the first one. My auntie lived next door to me, and she was the first one in the street to actually get a PC. And it was like this big, massive. Oh my god, she's so amazing. It was one of them fucking box ones, them
Yeah,
awful one. And whenever she went out shopping with my mum, I'd have a house to myself. So she had access to the internet. I'd be constantly, straight away, constantly looking, trying to find a picture or something. And I remember finding a cowboy one once. You had a list. You couldn't see the pictures beforehand because it was all JPEGs. So you had a list, and I had to really think through the list of which one I wanted to pick, and I landed on cowboy. And you clicked on it. It's like a scene out of Mission Impossible. I had sweat beads rolling down my head because the picture was taking so long to actually appear on the screen. It was coming down bit by
right.
bit. You just saw this massive knob on it. I was like, that's it. Printed it, took it into my house. It's because I saw my auntie had a guy in the house doing works, and I instantly just felt a certain way towards him. Then anything I'd felt before. It was like, like the heartbeat and everything. I was like, whoa. I remember
Yeah,
sitting with this bloody picture that I printed of the cowboy, and bless me, at that age, I remember sitting there going, I didn't have a word. I didn't know it was gay at that point. I just felt that it was wrong. I was like, I shouldn't be feeling this way about men and stuff. And I'd convinced myself, like, it's kind of therapeutic, like being a therapist for my own self. Like, convinced myself that I'd look at this picture of this cowboy with this massive knob out just once more, and then I'd rip it up into thousands of pieces. And once I'd ripped it up, that's it. The gay would be gone. And of course, I ripped it up into 1,000 pieces. I'm like, shit, why did I rip that one up? I want to see it again now. But
yeah,
yeah, I just remember really, really early on thinking, this isn't normal. So I used to go to church as well. It's
yeah.
like, this is wrong, whatever's going on here. Now it's the best asset of my life now.
Right. That's why I say, like, just like the like some I know some people have like straight remorse, and they're like, if I were straight, I'd be like, fuck that. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
whoa, yeah,
Yeah.
no, no,
That's what I try and say to straight people as well, and like the service users, because it's another one. Do you know, like I said about who's the man and who's the woman? The other common one is like the so when did you choose to be gay? And I'm like, like every time, and I'm like, I know it's you. Some people they do say it in a very disrespectful way. I know some other people will say it because they just clearly don't understand how shit they sound when they say it, and they're asking a genuine question. But I'm like, there was a point in my life where I turned around and gone, my God, I wish I was straight. Why can I not be straight? When I felt threatened and unsafe in
yeah,
myself. As soon as I came out of that, I'm like, why the fuck would I want to be straight? And that's what
yeah.
I tried to say to them. Like, do you honestly think I chose to live through that portion of hell that I had? You think I wanted to choose that? Because that is laughable.
See, in some ways, especially now, like I'm very flippant. If somebody asks me, so like, when did you choose to be gay? When I put a fucking dick in my mouth, bitch. That's when I decided to be gay.
Equally, I like that response. Definitely.
That's when I chose to be gay.
When I sucked a dick. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, no, I love them questions. And there's so much more. Do you know, like the ones where it's like, wow. Even like the ones where it's, I mean, I don't mind gays, but as long as you just don't try it on with me. And they're always the butt ugliest fucking person you've ever seen.
Yeah,
Whereas the ones that are actually quite decent looking are always like, yeah, you're gay. And it's always the one that looks like they've not had a
yeah.
shower in weeks.
It's like the craziest thing was I had this straight guy who like again talking about somebody I'm training in classes with, like he's a straight guy, so like they don't like in general okay. I'm sorry to stereotype all the straight people out there. I really don't fucking give a shit. But I'm sorry. Such a bitch. But anyway, it's like he was like, so how how does my hair look today? I'm like, it looks the same as it does. It does every fucking day. It looks like a
Yeah.
fucking mop mess on your head. Like, what am I supposed to be seeing? Like,
Supposed to see them little bits of hair just moved
yeah,
out of place.
and it's like, I already told you you're not my type. Why the fuck are you talking to me like this? Like,
Oh god, yeah, I've seen that before in straight people where they've said something along the lines of like, oh, just don't come on to me or whatever, and you're like, it's all right because you are nowhere near my type, so you don't have
yeah.
to be worried about. And they're like, what? What do you mean I'm not your type? I'm a man though, and I should be your type because I'm a man. I'm like, no, just
Well,
a lot
that's when
more.
you. That's when you turn around and you're like, so you love every fucking woman in the world?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you think they actually think that though? Some, not all, obviously. Do you think there is straight guys out there that actually think we're just well, it's a man, that's the whole point of being gay, you're just gonna be attracted to every single man, no matter who
Yes,
they are.
absolutely.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Like, I think it's fucking stupid, but
yeah.
I think that that's absolutely a thing. Yes, of course. Like,
Jesus. Poor people.
and it's like, I may not have. Oh, fuck. Shit. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Bear with me a moment. Who's ever watching? I'm trying to get Mr. Pops back on. Oh, boy. I'll give him a few more minutes. And if not, I'll end the interview. All right. I'm going to give him a few more minutes, or like 2 more minutes, and see if I can get him back. Oh boy. Okay. Well, sorry to end the interview abruptly like this. For those of you who are eventually going to listen to this on audio, I lost Mr. Pops and I'm unable to get back in touch with him. So, with that being said, this has been Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed.